first phase, and so the Jushin was actually left open. This is not a hero that we've seen too often. And in the keys to victory we saw from Mlbb, they had to respect Weedy.
Yeah.
And here, Mlbb, Weedy, he gets his comfortable hero, he gets his Matilda. And so far, Weedy has been so good at accommodating and facilitating these amazing plays. And paired in with the Alpha, this is a combo that we've seen time and time again. Very strong when it comes down to those rotations, very strong in that early game. But with Bigatron picking up the Hayabusa now, how does this compare?
Yeah, finally we see another jungler instead of Alpha and Suyo.
Thank God.
With Hayabusa, I think he can play on the early game, and the quickness of Hayabusa, he can aim for Zuxin or even the gold lane later.
Yeah.
That's the power of Hayabusa, who's been used by the Super Can later.
But I feel like that Crimson Beacon will be a saving grace for Zuxin. So when Hayabusa jumps in, the ultimate is already there, giving you that extra flicker and then that extra, you know, shield. So it's going to be interesting how Super Can will operate. This is one of Super Can's strong picks as well, and Hayabusa. So that is very, very nice. As we go towards the bans, Gatot Kacha, Nathan taken away. Yeah, I feel like Nathan has been trouble yesterday. It really wrecked Onyx dreams of going for the 5-beat.
It's been abused.
Somebody call Coach Adi. Somebody call Coach Yep, man.
Coach Adi, Coach
Look
Yep.
at this. This is what we wanted from you yesterday. Nathan being banned here in the second phase, ladies and gentlemen. And it poses the question here. From what you guys see from the first phase, what is the Alpha's job and what is the Hayabusa's job?
Well, the Alpha really wants to just engage into the backline of Bigatron Alpha and exert that much damage towards Hylos, because Hylos will scale.
But are we talking about objective takes for the Alpha or more for kills with the Alpha?
I think it's going to be more objective because you have Zeus, you have good setup basically. You have the Matilda to just run away with the Guiding Wind, and that might spell trouble for Bigatron Alpha because so far their setup isn't as good. Yes, they have Hylos who can collapse into the, front line of Bigatron of Team Liquid ID, but you don't have that lockdown. Maybe the Valentina can, but you need good utility, good ultimates to steal.
Because with Matilda, you can back and forth. You can play the kiting game.
You can juggle.
The power. Yeah, that's the power of Mlbb right now. But their lack of CC, they need the CC heroes that being picked on the 4th and the 5th pick.
What is it going to be, right? Terizla's not prio.
I'm thinking of
anymore.
Ruby?
Ruby.
No, wait, no, not
still
Ruby.
open.
Not Ruby. CC.
Khalid's still open.
Khalid's still open as well. Oh, they go for Bruno.
They might be using for Khalid. And Bruno or against Hayabusa.
This should be a hero for Iran now.
Yeah. The Bruno will go for a run, but now they're left without XP. I'm thinking of CC. No. Oh!
Wait a second.
Hilda!
Hilda EXP? Is that what we're looking at?
I think so.
Oh, I'm predicted that Hilda gonna be on the mid lane, and then he will disturbing Can on the jungle. Because Hilda is very powerful against Assassin's jungler. And oh, Kaja Matrix.
Yeah,
What a
tricky.
nasty combo.
Oh my goodness, Hilda's pressure gives me shades of Khalid as well, because you have so much prior with Hilda. Movement speed, tankiness, it's just going to disrupt the progressiveness of Bigatron Alpha in that mid lane. Yeah, wow.
Hilda was once known as a big counter towards Assassins in the early game to disrupt jungle. However, does the Hilda still work in this upcoming patch and meta? Is she still as strong?
With a single target issue from Hilda, I don't think it will work until very late game. That's why they need to secure it on, maybe under 40 minutes.
So Hilda works or doesn't work?
My answer is we have to see.
We have to see.
Because so much has changed. And I feel like Hilda does lock down the Hayabusa, but it's just way too hard for her to lock it back in the backline.
That's a Tuesday.
All right. Those were the opinions of the panelists. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to throw it over to the casters for game number 1.
Thank you so much for all the boys and girls in the panelist desk. But what a way to close out the draft for Mlbb, a debut pick in Season 14, Arashi.
We said that snowballing was essential. We talked about sustainability and roaming being a focus, but Hilda? What is going on right here? Wow. Seems like front to back has really taken over, and the EXP lane just wants to be just faster, right? Runs faster, jump higher. We'll have to see whether this works out for Team Liquid.
It does look like it's going to be revitalized Hilda and also Concussive Blast to help him with a clear speed Oh my goodness. You talk about this a bit more, Arashi. Like, what's the main goal, especially in the late game, when Hilda usually kind of fall off to compared to other EXP laners out there?
I think it's just to be a tank. I mean, look at the emblems here by IndieHome. Vitality, Wilderness Blessing. It's about being tanky, being able to control the far side of the lane maybe, perhaps, and just sustain and roam around. If we're gonna use this Hilda to control the side lanes in a split-push fashion, it's gonna be quite difficult to be dealt with by Bigatron, but look at this.
It's gonna be a setup by Bigatron Alpha. Ron now pops revitalized, but will not be enough. Super Ken looks for more. First blood, it goes to Super Luke, but really very aggressive with the flicker play as well. Bigatron Alpha, though, will have space to back away. Good attempt coming in from Witty, but Super Ken still saving that last shadow for him to get away. But Arashi, I have to wait here. 1v1 Aaron Shiki versus the Mon finds the solo in the bottom lane. Twice now. Now Moreno in the mid lane. Just a bit of poked. But once again, Eman solo killing the rookie Aaron Shiki.
Oh man, close but no cigar for Aaron Shaky, man. That was close. But now they have actually pressure on the turtle, man. Fabian on the Alpha.
Bergan looks for the steal, but Fabian clutch retribution, and Mlbb wins on the newt. They flip the script. Super Ken #1 on objectives in Turtles this season, but Fabian strikes first with the Alpha.
Really a weird situation right here. Bigatron, they seem to be transitioning more to this aggressive snowballing attempt. Super Ken going for kills instead of farming hard. Before we continue with that though, talent prediction here by the new application GoPay.
Very aggressive Super Ken. Looking for the quad shadow, circling Eagle. Will just find Moreno, but they will not engage more. Purple buff still in contention. It seems like Mlbb. They will take their time. Super Ken has a retribution bolt, as well as Fabian. Here of Alpha, that's a good steal. Now with the glorious pathway, Super Luke looking for an engage. But Mlbb says no, let's not go business this time. That's when you have the Birdman, the Matilda. Oh, Yeskiel! Looking for a pick-off! Super Ken, not enough damage. Yeskiel, good spacing. Man, Yeskiel, what a player too. And he is the most improved player in the season. Season 14, Rashi.
He did a great job right there, just getting distance. But look at Aran once again being pesky, having his eyes on Super Ken. You have to remember though, so far Bigatron has had the advantage when it rotates.
Now teams right now with the Revitalize and the Suppression. Oh! The Hero of Alpha. But now, with the Nibiru's Passion, Fabian is in trouble. Oh my god! No way! Help of Witty. My goodness, clutch guiding wind. Divine intervention that should not have happened. Everything in the kitchen sink for them, but no one died, Arashi.
Oh man, what was that? Both teams played with razor-thin margins, but since Aaron Shiki wasn't participating in that fight, he actually got a decent amount of value there from the turret gold. Man, Team Liquid ID, it seems like they have ever so slightly the advantage right here. Considering that Super Ken is on an assassin, it is going to be very difficult for him to try to go in and assassinate someone with a Matilda around, and with the opposing jungler being an Alpha as well. A comfort pick for Fabian that's really oppressive in the current meta. Look at that clear speed.
I mean, this is why you ban out the Matilda. Let's see now with the Circling Eagle, Super Ken still has the quad shadow, and that will be Bigatron concede another turtle.
This composition is just built to zone with a Hayabusa, man. When you can get away from the Hilda, that's where the Matilda Circling Eagles around you exposes you and kind of, threatens to just jump on you. You can see that Super Ken is struggling to even get near the neutral objectives. Whoa!
Quicker Divine Judgment, and that will be Fabian this time, punished. Now, Bigatron, they might look for more. 2 members caught by the Circling Eagle. But Bigatron Alpha says, you know what, it's enough. We have Fabian, let's back away. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like that's kind of a misplay coming in from Fabian. He should have just Spear of Alpha out of the danger. Oh my goodness! Aaron Shiki with the damage. Now Super Luke finds the law and order, and Aaron Shiki punished. Bigatron Alpha with the trade. Beatrix and the Weskers in this playoffs has been popping off, Arashi.
It's popping off, man. The double battle shotgun doing a lot of damage. But Team Liquid ID, in a way, even though in the fights, in the skirmishes, Bigatron Alpha are getting some value, look at the individual side lanes, man. Aran and Aaron Shiki has been able to do a lot of damage, able to outpush their lane opponents. That's something that Bigatron Alpha need to consider going into the mid game, where in theory, Team Liquid ID can be a lot more dangerous than they are right now.
Now with the, that's a good setup. Mlbb smells that Super Ken is alone, isolated, and they have punished. Well, they will trade that for the third bottom side, though. Now, let's talk about Supercan a bit more, Rashi, because he chooses to go for magic shoes, the same as the Suyo's last matches in season number 1. But we might have to wait here. Or it's not. Hey, and that's gonna be the Moreno with the Spear of Alpha. Sweetie now isolated, taken down. Super Luke will be the trade. Amon doesn't find the connection, but it will be 1-for-1.
It is a roamer for the EXP though. Yeskiel playing a dangerous game, but he knows he can't kite back away.
Most improved player looking for some connection with the Zushin. Fabian secures the perfect turtle.
That don't matter.
Dude, you execute the right way. You get the turtles, you get the objectives.
Look at this zoning, man. Even when you get past the Alpha and the Mathilda, past the, past all of these obstacles, even Yeskiel just stands there, flashing out the lantern flare, and you're just forced to respect it because you have no idea when that next follow-up is going to happen, especially if your marksman is a Bruno. Those crits can be very hard to predict.
He has this enabler that is the Matilda from Weedy. But Rashi, let's talk about the Moreno, man, because he's using Valentina right now, a hero that he really likes to play, but the problem is, when you look at the other side of the court, what ultimate is he supposed to take? Is it just the guiding, the circling eagle? Is that the best?
He even went for the Spear of Alpha just earlier, I believe. So Moreno has been the more creative player on the Valentina. But again, as you mentioned, Shevin, there are options available to him, but which one will be ideal? None of those ultimates can really be game-changing. If anything, I feel like maybe the Sushin ultimate for some safety could be used if he wants to play a bit more aggressively. Otherwise, I guess the Circling Eagle or the Spear of Alpha, something to help with the crowd control, because right now, if they want to go for a fight, Key has to go and initially find the Divine Judgment first. Super Luke can get a stun, but it's very telegraphed. You're going to see the Hylos walking up to you.
AI prediction set by Samsung Galaxy S24 FE, man, look at that. Even though the gold lead is on Tlid side, they actually favored Pikachu Alpha by a sliver of percentage, 1%. Meanwhile, Key might have to wait here because no one's there. Yeskiel though, oof. Oh, with the Divine Judgment, and it connects now. Yeskiel still able to survive that one, so that's a resource actually wasted though. Yeskiel popped his flicker. Oh, gotta be a bit more careful next time, Yeskiel, because he saw that and he didn't want to actually pull the flicker a bit earlier.
Look at this though. Oh, what a run!
That's a run. Initiating with the Hilda. Tlid here, taking their time, playing the mid first. Forward is up. Hayabusa is bottom side.
Hilda?
And actually find the connection all towards Super Loop. He has no flicker. That's info. Iran looking to find space towards pathway. Take my God! Fabian finds the kill! Yeskiel will be the trade, but now Megatron Alpha, they have no retribution in hand. Moreno receives a lot of damage now. He looking, finds phase as he is covering for his life. Now Aaron Cheeky still has some balls in his guts, but now it's gonna be Tlid finding the better trade.
Husky is the word I want to say for this big man. What was that? He just absolutely destroys Supercan before he got into the vicinity.
Ooh, man, that was a close attempt for Pikachu to save that orange buff. But Team Liquid, again, this composition is meant to just shut down the jungler. You saw what happened earlier. Usually XP lane is an enabler, a Hylos. Since that guy can kind of do constant DPS, zone away the opposing team's jungler. But on a Hilda, she's faster, and she does more damage than the Hylos technically. You can see it earlier, Supercan not having any targets at all this game, and this is the mid-game power spike. Look at Aaron Shiki's crits, man. The 2-item power spike for the Bruno is being used to its utmost potential here.
Ram might have changed the way he played, but that identity when he picks the Batangs, the Uranus, the Esmeralda, when it's not even meta. He's still there. He's coming up with new things that he cooked up in the lab.
Megatron defending. They failed to defend the inner top lane, but they will defend their mid and bottom for now.
That's the disadvantage of this composition. It's strong, it's oppressive, but only in the neutral objectives. When it comes to the sieging potential, they don't really have a lot to offer. And in a way, this kind of reminds you of how it played out when Onyx was going up against EFF just yesterday, right? No siege potential, technically. They have to rely on getting a massive fight, but look at this Cotillo!
Wicked Divine Judgment finds Witty. That's gonna be 5v4. Baby now receives one and win a crown is placed, but he will fall regardless. That's Super Luke. Going to be the drain as a run now. Pasa revitalized, but still, that's a 2-for-1 in favor of the Red Robots.
Finally, good pickoff, and that might be the game plan from now on, Arashi. Limiting the disengage mechanic from Witty.
I mean, for any composition, if you're able to get the Mathilda, that's just massive value, dude. Aran is the only person who can kind of tank the damage. Even if Fabian gets pulled in, he might just be bursted almost instantly.
Oh my god.
Excuse me?
Okay, whoa. It's a whirly right there, man. The crit. And actually now Mlbb only 1,500 gold lead though.
We got a game fact just now by new application Kopei. The last time this hero has been used, it's not even season 13, 12, no! It's season 9 with Rippo!
Wow.
Hilda, folks. Super Luke now pops the glorious pathway defensively, but that's the first. That's the crit by Aaron Shiki.
The Malefic War doing work right there. Again, Eman definitely has the damage to kind of trade back, but dude, it's a whole different mechanic. When Eman is doing a bit of DPS actually, rushing the DHS, we've seen Beatrix is kind of transition to in the late game. He's trying to match the basic attack potential, but with the Bruno, man, the crits are just different compared to the shred potential of the Beatrix. And with the Wind of Nature, this means that even Super Ken and Eman, they can't be so much against this.
Yep, conceal play from Key now. Oh, that's a suppression on towards Aran, and Aaron Shiki clears the Lord, but Key will fall him on. My goodness, he has the flicker, but does he have enough space? Answer is yes. Wicked Draw Alpha still moving backwards, and Mlbb finds the Lord and the kill.
Mlbb doesn't like that moniker. That L momentum erased the momentum coming in from Key, and now they're sieging the turret.
They're addicted to the rush. Fabian jumping in, winner ground popped. Super Luke looking for the defense. Aaron. Oh my goodness, Aaron goes down, but that is still Mlbb finding the base turret.
And that's before the Lord is even in the picture, man. The play from Fabian to just go in, bait out all the resources, and then go with the Winter Crown, exits cleanly with the guiding win. The communication, the synergy of this team is absolutely insane, dude. You keep seeing it, and it keeps impressing you every single time.
And they're not pumping on the brakes either. They just push onto the pedal. Every time a fight is possible, they're gonna take it. Every time Key goes for something, they're gonna retaliate. This is the identity of the Cavalry, the newfound rookies for Team Liquid.
Right, we're seeing that Bigatron is going to clear this out. It's going to be allowed though. Aaron Shiki left alone his orange buff in order to just go and rotate with the Lord. But they actually weren't able to get anything. Bigatron, no.
For the oh! Fabian with the Spear of Alpha. Moreno will go down as Aran extracts multiple members. Aaron Shiki is free-hitting, and that's the flicker. Oh my God! Wind of Nature. Aaron looking for the triple, and that is just Super Luke alone. The base wide open. Ladies and gentlemen, Mlbb finds game one.
Gila Yehezkiel! Gila Aaron! Gila Team Liquid! What was that? An absolute domination! A clean game coming in from Team Liquid ID! Something that a lot of people don't really see it coming! Bigatron Alpha got played around in the late game!
Woo! What the heck was that, dude? Team Liquid identified the exact intentions of Bigatron. The reaction time on Yehezkiel, the most improved player, just completely destroyed any kind of strategy Bigatron Alpha had. They overextended and they got absolutely punished, dude. What is this team?
Oh, and when the youngsters have the momentum, they're gonna pounce on the robots. This is a huge one for Mlbb. A win to build on to win the series, possibly. What a performance right from the get-go. My goodness. Even when you think about it, Bigatron Alpha, in a way, they have some kind of advantage. They've already played in this stage before. They've proven that they're one of the best teams over and over again. But Mlbb, this is new rookies. They don't have any experience at all in this stage. But it's not a problem at all.
Yeah, the more you see them play, it really feels like there are some ways that these experienced teams can kind of take advantage of them through the rotations, through the early game. But dude, you cannot deny the team fighting prowess of Team Liquid ID is absolutely disgusting, man. Again and again, even against the best teams in the league, they're able to find a way to just completely overturn some of these 5v5 team fights in their favor. It wasn't even a small victory, it was an overwhelming overturn of a victory.
No words, man. No words. What a connection. What a performance for our opening game today. That was just the first game. Convincing win, Mlbb. But this is a best of 5. Can Bigatron or can Mlbb maintain this type of performance?
Goodness gracious. We're gonna take it to our panelists for a more in-depth dive on what happened at that match. Eterna, what happened?
Thank you, casters. That's actually an excellent question because I don't know what happened. I think we're going to throw it over to our analysts here on the panel. Like, what happened? Because initially, I would have thought with Bigatron Alpha holding so much control over the kills, the side lane pressure, they were just putting all their eggs in one basket in Emon. It looked really great with those solo kills from Emon onto Aaron, but how did Mlbb at the end get that game?
They know what is the strategy between the drop. Because with Hilda, they use on the XP lane, and with the opponents using Valentina and Beatrix, it's a time bomb game. If they play after 14 minutes, it's gonna be hard for Hilda to dive into the backline, but they can end the game in 13 minutes, 55 seconds.
Yeah, they knew the winning condition. They knew that they had to end it fast because the Beatrix will be a menace, and then they have so much siege potential as well from Bigatron Alpha. And Team Liquid ID, their base defense, their high ground defense isn't the best, because yes, Bruno hits hard, but it doesn't really necessarily clear the waves as fast, as much. So they know they knew the strengths, and the Bruno just snowballed out of nowhere. And Fabian, again, he proved that he deserves to be the Rookie of the Season and the regular season MVP. His performance did not drop.
He had a perfect turtle.
Yes.
Right? He secured perfect objectives in the early portion of the game, and even towards the Lord pushes, he was able to secure it. I think Aaron picked up 1 Lord, if I'm not mistaken, but let's take a look at that game once again. I gotta ask though, with Bigatron utilizing their winning lane in Emon, why did suddenly Bruno get a snowball?
Because I think Bruno is everywhere. Aaron Shiki always joining team fights, and the damage from Aaron Shiki is very nasty.
Yeah, it's very nasty. And I'm also kind of surprised as to why they first picked the Valentina, because it's not really the best thing you want to first pick, especially when Zeusin was wide open. But of course, the player of the game, it's Yehezkiel.
Right on cue. Well done, Realize. This is the player of the game presented to you by the official tournament smartphone Samsung Galaxy S24 FE. Honestly, looking at that, I felt like there would have been an argument made for Fabian, but why do you guys think it's Yehezkiel that gets the POTG?
I think it's because of the using of the lantern flare, especially when on the near the orange buff, he used the Wither Crown perfectly.
Yeah.
So the opponents cannot take off the Fabian.
The micro details, the small plays he makes, and the way he zones for his teammates with the lantern flare is just so good. It's always going to be a type of play where he will try to deteriorate the HP of Bigatron Alpha, and his teammates will be the finishers. And it's just insane how the timings of his winner crowns and the way he was able to space himself from Super Ken, because Super Ken was there as the Terminator for Yehezkiel. The Hayabusa was supposed to take down the Zeusin, but the Zeusin #1 has that in its sustain with the Crimson Beacon, and #2, the winner crown. This was so sweet. The cherry on top. This team, I tell you, this team is scary.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've been waiting to hear that sentence for so long, guys. But this is a best of 5. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yep.
And if anything, it's Bigatron, the adaptability of this team, the fact that they can really just learn from the mistakes that they made. It is going to be a challenge, I would say, for Mlbb. But once again, congratulations, Mlbb, for picking up that first game. But let's dive deeper into the emblem usage and the items. Do you think any of what you guys see on screen right now stands out and it's something to note?
I mean, it's all, I think, still the same. QC for Mathilda to have that movement speed to get closer to your teammates and push further. The Bruno as well goes for the QC for that sustainability. And for Hilda, I feel
Yeah,
like
don't forget about it. Yeah,
Still the
because
same.
you're using the Wilderness Blessing,
Wilderness Blessing.
the Vitality.
Vitality, Concussive Blast to have that skirmish power, but also the Wilderness Blessing for you to have that movement of freedom of movement to move quickly on the river into the point of clash, and I think it's all. in
Yeah,
the book.
don't forget Hilda have the passive. It can gains health on push, and he's using the Revitalize.
Yeah, Revital
Oh my god,
for sustain.
that's a crazy regeneration.
So can we say that it's officially back? Can Hilda be
Nope.
a counter towards these assassins?
Conditional.
Conditional.
Because one,
Conditional,
if Super Ken is using Alpha or the other fighter, maybe Hilda is not the best option.
Okay, but for an assassin?
Against assassins,
Yeah, it's still conditional, to be honest.
Interesting. Okay. What about
The
anything
item.
else? Yeah.
I think still the same. Moreno still goes for the Silent Sight for the cooldown reduction and the damage, but Yaskill does not opt for the Sky Piercer because we have seen a lot of Zeusin build Sky Piercer to get that last execution. You really want to build it as your second item, I think, a third item as well, but yeah, he doesn't really need it because it's fully skirmishing.
yeah, I think here because he wants Aaron Shiki or Vivian is the hero who got the last kill.
Yeah.
The execution. If they are got a snowballing, maybe he will build the Sky Piercer, but he's using the Zuxen as the utility mid lane.
Utility, yeah.
And hence the reason why he was able to facilitate a lot of these plays. Okay. What about how Tlid were able to shut down Super Ken? I mean, we see this gold distribution. You can even see from just a glimpse, like this is majorly dominated by Fabian, and at some point, Fabian was 2 levels
Lord.
ahead of Super Ken. Was that a factor as to how Tlid were able to win this game?
Yeah, you see, that's the power of the Matilda Alpha. You have the in and outs of the game, you can juggle it around, you don't have to commit to fights. And Superkin was just denied from assassination attempts. I mean, the Zeusin was there with the Crimson Beacon, I've told you this multiple times, and then they purchased the Winter Crown, and the way they zone out Super Ken into entering the Lord Pit was just so flawless. I mean, Iran was there to shut him down.
And Kaja against Zuxin, he cannot do a lot of pick off because every
Yeah.
time he do the pick off and the Lantern Flare is there, Kaja will be like go to the airborne and throw back to his teammates.
Yeah, was confused.
Essentially, the entire game plan, like the winning key factor, literally key factor,
Key factor.
was that pick-off strat coming in from the Kaja. But it was very difficult for them to look for anyone to target anyway.
Yeah. The thing is, when you fight Team Liquid 5v5, you straight out lose. I mean, yeah, sure, you have high loss to become that frontline, but you don't have that playmaking tool. Again, Valentina, you want to use the IMU, but there wasn't really a significant ult that he can really bank on. Maybe the Spear of Alpha, yes, but then you are exposed into the middle of the fight of Team Liquid, so I think the question lies there.
The question for me, though, is what can Bigatron do to repair whatever happened in game number 1? Do you really think it starts from the drafts?
Yeah. For me, yeah, because the draft itself is already around 70% on Tlid and 30% for Bigatron. So I know it's a cheese pick with Hilda, so they are surprised also because Hilda can just invade the jungle and disturbing Super Cat during for doing the jungle pattern. But now on the second game, I think they already know that they already aware that maybe Tlid can use another Hilda if they use another assassin. And what kind of gameplay? Because on the first game, the pick-off strategy, it doesn't work with Bigatron.
Yeah, you couldn't really see much of the pickoffs. It was mostly 1v1 kills in the early. It was Aman schooling Aaron Shiki, but Aaron Shiki was like, nah, I'm not in school anymore. I'm a college student now. I can live by myself. I'm independent, and he schools Aman back. So, yeah, they weren't really playing into their winning conditions. It was most of individual brilliance and individual step-ups.
But what do you think about the Kaja and his targeting? Because there were moments in the game where we saw that he was targeting Aran.
The thing is, it's so hard to do that because there's so much layers of Team Liquid ID that just denies that targeting. You want to target into the Bruno, you have to go for the Hilda, and then you have the Spear of Alpha, and then Yaskill with the Lantern Flare. Kaja cannot gap close like that because there's so much zoning potential from Team Liquid ID. So if you want to gap close, you gotta flicker in and you gotta commit to the fight. But Team Liquid ID, they're quick on the pounce. They reply very, very fast.
So what is the solution then?
I think it's gonna be a different story if they got a snowballing. So
Yeah.
on the middle to late game, if the teams are already on advantage, Kaja can pick up anyone in front of him. But the problem is like their team are under because they didn't get any turtle. So I think the solution is maybe they will think about wants to change the gameplay.
Yeah.
Like for example, using the AoE heroes
Yeah.
on the roamer side, or
Yeah.
using Matilda like yesterday.
I think should have changed. When they knew that the Zeusin was out, they shouldn't have picked the Kaja, I feel like.
Because the Jushin was third pick for TLID.
Yeah. So I think again, Bigatron, they gotta go back to the drawing board. You know, change a few things. Maybe go back to the comfort heroes if you want. Just contest the wait, Shoyu or Suyo? Suyo, because Shoyu is what do you call it?
It's like sauce.
It's like yeah, it's like Japanese sauce. It's ketchup asin
Yeah, it's
Indonesian.
Really good. It's really good.
Yeah, vinegar, whatever. Yeah, you gotta. I think it's okay to contest the Suyo. I mean, you still have the Alpha to play against it. So yeah.
Okay. But our headline is fighter jungle option for Super Ken to balance the early aggression from TLID. Do you think that is an option that Bigatron can go for? Just don't go for the Hayabusa. Go for something a little bit more beefy in the jungle instead. I mean, technically Super Ken is a versatile jungler. He can pick up the X-Borgs. He can pick up
Export.
several things. Bane. We haven't
Bane.
seen Bane. What do you think about that?
I'm not sure because the one who left, if they are banning the Suyo and they're using the Alpha, are maybe Bane, maybe Xborg, like you said before, or Alice, or Super Cat.
Alice.
But for the farming pattern, he will lose against Pavian. That's why maybe they pick Hayabusa to match up the farming pattern.
Yeah, you gotta match up the clear speed of a Favian. But yeah, I think back to the fighter type of junglers. I think it's still okay. You know, you mentioned it. The Alpha, if you want to pick up the Suyo or rather the Bane, the X-Borg. Maybe you can talk about the Alice in jungle again. But you gotta give him the benefit of the doubt because the fighter junglers, there isn't really much of a choice you have. It's either Suyo Alpha, and if you want to pick Bane, you gotta be so conditional.
Or maybe he can play like Mobazen, Paquito jungler.
Paquito jungle. Wow.
NACT on top.
I have not heard that in a while. When was the last
But
time we
it's
saw
hard, it's
Paquito
hard.
jungle in Mpl-Id? Was it like Albert?
Albert.
When he
Been a
was in
very long time.
RQ?
Been a very long time.
2011 or 10, I think.
Yeah,
A long time ago.
long time ago.
It's
Long time
been
ago.
a while.
Don't
It's
try it
been
at
a
home.
while. I mean, okay, if we're reverting back to this fighter in the jungle, technically in the first phase, it was Matilda first pick for TLID. If Bigatron still offer a second pick or a red side, essentially they could have taken the Alpha away. Would have that been a more, like a better choice for them, do you think?
I think as the better choice, yes, because at the nice Favian of his strong power. Because the thing is, the Matilda was picked because Favian was given his Alpha. That means that Team Liquid ID can funnel all of their power into the Matilda Alpha. If the Alpha was banned out, Matilda is still available. I think they will be playing through a run. Because you can go for a Phoveus Matilda, it still works.
That does make sense. But, you know, we can discuss it a little bit more, maybe off screen, because we're gonna check out the hosts. What are they doing over there? Bude? Alisa?
Booty clearing, most here.
Ramai banget, begitu spesial karena kita kedatangan juga tamu-tamu yang istimewa. Betul Alisa?
Betul sekali Bude, karena di sini kita sudah bersama dari Sekretaris Komisi Disiplin Nasional Paralimpik Komite ada Bapak Satriawan Sulaksono dan juga pastinya atlet Paralimpik langsung yaitu Idris.
Halo Pak, apa kabar nih? Melihat suasana playoff bagaimana Pak?
Luar biasa. Kaget saya rame ini.
Oh, kaget luar biasa, rame. Kalau Idris gimana nih? Ini kali pertama atau udah pernah sebelumnya?
Kali pertama Mbak, karena ngerasa ini juga mimpi sih. Karena nggak pernah kebayang bisa nonton MPL, playoff dan gratis. Karena gara-gara main game aja gitu.
Waduh, memang ya karena war tiketnya tuh susah banget apalagi playoff ya.
Betul sekali, karena banyak banget fansnya di sini. Nanti kita juga bakal denger nih, Idris pasti punya idola juga ya
Iya Mbak.
di playoff ini. Tapi sebelumnya kita pengen ke Pak Setiawan. Pak, boleh nggak sih diceritain sedikit tentang bagaimana sih sebenarnya perkembangan Paralimpik di Indonesia, khususnya buat game Mobile Legends itu sendiri?
Baik, kalau dari sisi kami, dari NPC Indonesia ini adalah wadah dari
induk organisasi khusus untuk olahraga penyandang disabilitas. Dari sini kita ada cabur baru saja minggu kemarin kita selesaikan Pekan Paralimpiade Nasional yang satu rangkaian dengan Pekan Olahraga Nasional. Di dalam Pekan Paralimpiade Nasional kemarin, kita adakan satu cabur yang baru dan pertama kali di Indonesia, yaitu para e-sport. Kalau kita kenal adanya badminton, ada para badminton. Kalau kita kenal adanya e-sport, ini ada para e-sport. Para itu artinya paralel. Teman-teman yang able bisa mengikuti cabur e-sport. Ini teman-teman yang difabel juga bisa mengikuti cabur para e-sport. Nah ini bentuk dari paralel atau bentuk dari kesamaan inklusivitas yang kita berikan.
Wah, begitu istimewa pastinya dan berarti di sini Adri sebagai atletnya kemarin bermain.
Iya Mbak.
Bagaimana tuh? Boleh diceritain mungkin pengalamannya?
Seru sekali Mbak, karena pada akhirnya kami yang spesial ini punya wadah untuk bermain game juga. Kami juga favorit game ini, Mobile Legend. Dan akhirnya kami dikasih wadah oleh NPC Indonesia untuk bisa bertanding juga seperti idola-idola kami yang ada di MPL Indonesia Mbak.
Wow, jadi pastinya seneng banget. Berarti mungkin bisa diceritain lagi gak sih dampak positif yang mungkin Idris rasakan setelah mengikuti kemarin, diberi kesempatan juga?
Apa ya Mbak ya? Banyak sekali sih sebenarnya. Di luar ekspektasi, semua hal yang gak pernah Idris bayangkan dari dulu itu jadi kenyataan. Dan terima kasih untuk NPC dan pepanas e-sport Indonesia.
Luar biasa sekali ya, pastinya juga di cabang e-sport ini tetap mengedepankan inklusivitas ya. Balik lagi ke Pak Satriawan, mungkin boleh nggak sih diceritain sedikit seperti apa dukungan mungkin dari pemerintah maupun dari Mobile Legends itu sendiri terhadap atlet-atlet dari Paralimpik?
Baik, kita khususnya untuk yang ke depan, kami punya wadah di tingkat nasional namanya Peparnas yang baru saja kita selesaikan. Lalu kemudian di tingkat provinsi kami punya Peparprov yang bisa dilakukan oleh 35 provinsi se-Indonesia. Karena NPC provinsi masing-masing harus menyelenggarakan Peparprov. Kami akan mendorong dari pusat agar teman-teman NPC provinsi juga mengadakan turnamen para e-sport supaya bibit-bibit baru teman-teman disabilitas yang memiliki skill di bidang e-sport ini bisa diwadahi, kemudian diberikan prestasi sama dengan teman-teman atlet able yang lain. Oleh karena itu tentu saja kami berterima kasih sekaligus meminta dukungan dari Muntun Indonesia untuk bisa membimbing kami juga untuk bisa bekerja sama dengan NPC Indonesia supaya kita nanti ke depan bisa menyiapkan diri lebih dini karena di Januari 2026 ada ASEAN Para Games yang akan dilakukan di Nakhon Ratchasima di Thailand. Semoga nanti kita bisa ikut serta cabur tersebut. Kita akan lihat 1 tahun ke depan ini kita mempersiapkan diri menghadapi event ASEAN tersebut. Demikian.
Oke, equality dan inclusivity itulah yang ingin dikedepankan pastinya oleh e-sport. Jadi kita berharap juga di sini semua stakeholder baik dari komunitas maupun dari e-sport itu sendiri bisa selalu mendukung ya Bude.
Benar-benar, tapi Bude penasaran tadi kan bilang bisa melihat langsung idola-idola dan kasih tahu dong Idris siapa nih idolanya atau siapa yang awal membuat Idris juga ingin menunjukkan bakat Idris.
Sekarang itu idolanya lagi main nih, yaitu BTR Moreno karena saya main di Midland.
Wah.
Saya suka gameplay Moreno karena agresif, jadi saya sangat suka. Tapi dulu yang menginspirasi saya pertama kali adalah mungkin kita semua tahu, yaitu Lemon Bude.
Lemon.
Iya. Jadi dulu Idris main Mobile Legends itu tahun 2017, jadi baru-baru launching dulu. Dan dulu ada Lemon dan sangat ngefans karena main mid lane juga dari dulu kan, main Magi.
Jadi dari awal mid laner sejati?
Iya Mbak.
Mid laner sejati dan tentu saja kita mengharapkan yang terbaik juga. Berarti akan bersiap-siap pula nih untuk Thailand. Nanti depannya kita mengharapkan yang terbaik. Terima kasih. Dan tentunya kita akan melanjutkan nih bersama-sama menyaksikan seperti apa untuk game kedua atau mungkin game-game selanjutnya. Karena ini adalah Best of 5 Series di Upper Bracket, Bigetron Alpha dan juga tim Mlbb-Id. Bersiaplah semuanya, Eldorado Dome, mari kita sambut game kedua. Mangga panelis.
Silakan.
Thank you, Booty Clara Mongstar, as well as Alyssa for that. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the English panel with me, Eterna, alongside with Colius, as well as Realize, to bring you game numero dos. Now, it's no secret that I love patterns. Okay, so tell me, our first match in the playoffs, it was Alter Ego and Bigatron. Did Alter Ego ever win against Bigatron?
No.
In the regular season?
Regular season, no.
No. So let's go to match number 2. Geek Fam and Fnatic Onyx. Did Fnatic Onyx ever win against Geek Fam in the regular season?
No.
Okay,
Is this a pattern?
it's just I'll rest my case there.
But
I'll rest my case there.
I think on this match, Team Liquid ID versus Bigatron, it's on par because
Hey, wait, technically it's not. So what Koyos is talking about, in leg number 1 it was 2-0 for Bigatron. This wasn't with the lineup that we're seeing right now.
but they still lose.
Yeah.
But it's a different lineup.
It's a different lineup because it was still
It was still Yawi,
Mr. Yowers
Richie,
and JMZ.
and now it's a completely different lineup. And leg 2 when they met, they couldn't win. It was a 2-0 for Tlid. You know, I just want to put it out there, Mr. Mirkotron in the audience. But let's ask the audience what they think. How can Bigatron come back in game number 2 to force another game here? And statistics show, drumroll please. 43% fight for early objectives. Number 2, 35% discipline in mid towards the late game. And number 3, Super Ken fighter matchup. Let's circle back to this. Fight for early objectives. Mr. Realize Man,
Yes.
do you agree with this?
To a certain degree, yes. But, you know, Super Ken was like using the Hayabusa. So I feel like kills would have made more sense. And I feel like Bigatron Alpha did not have a proper setup for most of the objective takes. If you take a look at Team Liquid ID, again, we talked about the Matilda in and out. So you have the Zeusyn who can zone out the Bigatron Alpha players, and then you have the Spear of Alpha from Fabian. So if they want to fight for that neutral objective setup, they need the setup as well. And they can start with the drafts.
But here is what I think. Because RRQ on the week number 9, if I'm
Week number
wrong,
9.
yeah, when facing against Team Liquid ID, he's playing very aggressively. On the first game, Fabian got very aggressive. They won the early game for TLID, but on the second and the third game, RQ like fighting fire with fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why I want to talk like Bigatron want to play that kind of gameplay.
Yeah.
The fighting fire with fire using the assassin. Like Link is still open, but I know that Link it might be not like efficient as the other heroes. But if you want to play the early game, you can use that.
Wait, so you think Bigatron should stay with the assassins and not go for objectives?
Yeah.
So just double
me,
down. Do you agree with this? Double down? Should Bigatron double down for game number 2?
Assassins are just, I don't know, assassins.
Except there's Suyo.
Their swords are just dull now.
Interesting.
Yeah, we prefer the Suyos and the Alphas. And Suyo, I think, is going to be open because Bigatron Alpha, they ban out the Zeusyn and the Matilda.
Alongside with the Fanny, ladies and gentlemen, as we get into the drafting phase for game number 2, presented to you by the official tournament smartphone Samsung Galaxy S24 FE. On TLID side, we do see that the Wanwan and the chip does get banned. This is something usual that we see. So, Suyo left open? Nope.
They're gonna contest this? Nah, they won't. Well,
They still can pick Edith on the first pick. Yeah, that's a prior heroes too if they want to play with it, but I lost.
That's the question, because we talked about how Edith and Gatot were very prio in like week 7, 8, and 9 in regular season. But in the playoff, it feels like no one wants to pick Edith and Gatot Kacha. And even if it was picked up yesterday by Veldora, he got smacked by Fnatic Onyx.
See, I don't know why they opted to go for Hylo's first pick, because is it because it's prio? Or is it because they're denying this pick away from TLID?
I think denial could be the case because Aran plays it, Witty plays it as well, so that could be the case, but the Hylos just provides a lot of sustain when it comes to the fights in front, because now the team fights, they just run and extend so far.
Oh, wow.
Angela.
Alpha. I think they love to play with this synergy. On the first game, they are playing with Matilda Alpha, and now with Angela Alpha. It can be played very aggressive, like always looking for the kill points for Vivian later.
Yeah. I
It
think
was banned out in the first game, by the way, by Mpl-Id.
that's true. I think the only premise or situation where you want to pick the Angela is when you have a lane. Angela lane could work, but now that the Angela is picked up, I feel like this already locks that mid laner, because I don't feel Angela is that, you know, versatile, is that good in the roamer area now. So I feel like it's going to go mid, but we have seen Witty play that Angela in the roam.
And now for ESQ, I think Eve might be a good option.
Yeah.
If they want to play with using high ground defensive, CCAOE, using the reward manipulation.
Yeah, but the problem with the Eve is that if the Valentina is picked up, the Valentina gets access to the RWM, so then Team Bigatron Alpha, they have that poking tool, that zoning tool, or that defense tool. If they do pick up the Eve, thinking of the only one. I don't know. Something else. Oh, they go for the Phoveus. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's wise to choose a big ultimate against Moreno. We saw what Valentina on Moreno was able to do against the Eve, against the Jushins. It's not a matchup you'd want to see against the Luo Yi too.
Luo Yi.
So it does make sense. Honestly, in every other case, I would agree that the Angela is better as a mid laner, because you need that tool in the roaming position. But specifically for Tlid, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I guess it's great now that Tlid can actually use that as flex, but with the Phoveus coming in the EXP lane, I don't think they have enough tools.
That's a problem, right? With the Angela, roam is that number one. You can't open up bushes because you need someone healthy enough. You need someone beefy to open up the bushes. And number two, you don't have that much prio as an Angela.
Or quick enough, right?
Yeah, and not quick enough. I mean, compared to Gato Kacha, compared to Edith that can really help shove the wave, get that turtle prio, Angela is not the best. So I think this Angela is locked, set in stone to become the mid laner for Team Id. But looking at the bans now, they still fear that this Angela will go to the hands of Witty, because we have seen Witty again play the Angela.
They still have the chance to using Angela as the mid laner if maybe Aaron Shiki wants to play with Nathan. Because they have enough magic damage and Angela can be the mid laner. And on the late game it might be good, but if they want to play with another synergy, that Claude is not that bad.
It's not Aaron Shiki.
Yeah, but it's not Aaron Shiki.
Yeah,
It's not Aaron
Claude isn't an Aaron Shiki-ish pick.
What if we're going to see a Lunox or even an Alice in the gold lane against his Harris?
Well, I feel like yeah, the only time you want to pick a Lunox in this patch is to counter that Harith. Then again, in lane it does counter the Harith, but come the late game, it's very hard to play. They ban out the Alice, they are baiting a Lunox pick.
Here's the thing, right? Harith has been so popular. We talked about this with Mirko too, right? And he mentioned that the Harith is so prio in MPL-PH, and yet we don't really see much of Harith. Is this the first time we've seen him in the playoffs?
I think it was picked
Did we
up
see it
yesterday.
once?
Yeah.
Not quite often though, right? It's always
it was-
Beatrix Natan, Moskov. So with the Harith coming through and them banning out the Alice, I still think that Aaron might be picking up something like the Luna.
Yeah, they have to, I think.
Oh, it's really Cho.
This is, wait.
Yeah, I think it's Angela mid.
Yeah.
Confirmed. Because the Cho will go in the hands of Witty, and the Cho does have that gap close to catch the Harith, to catch the Valentina. But the big question, the big elephant in the room is, what will Aaron Shiki play?
If they need the magic damage.
They do.
For sure.
They do. They need magic damage.
That's why maybe the last option is Nathan.
Yeah, it could
That's
be
why,
Natan.
Tana Lunox, yeah.
We can try, or maybe try to predict, because Lunox against, they need to see the matchup first for the jungler, what kind of jungler that Bigatron want to use.
Nolan. Okay. I think it's very, very dangerous to go Natan, because you have the Tig, you have the Nolan as well to lock you down. You have to run Purify. You have to play much more defensively. Lunox might help you with the Brilliance Order. You can move around a bit. So I think Lunox does make sense, but if you want that burst damage, they will pick up the Natan. But I think it's going to be the Lunox.
I know it's hard for Natan on early game, but on the mid to late game, I prefer Natan because
Me too.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be hard for Nolan and Tigreal to aim for Natan on the back line.
That's true.
Especially when you have the ultimate, so you can run away, and they have Cho. They can pick off the opponents.
Yes.
Not just that, the Cho also serves as really good ways here to facilitate the Angela in the mid lane.
Natan.
And there it is, Natan.
Yeah. Makes more sense. We have seen Shadera milk this hero so much.
Natan,
Yeah. It's just insane. This Natan is just disgusting. Man, ban Natan, please. I'm
I
still
like-
heartbroken.
I like it. I think Goni is as well, honestly, when we're talking about heartbreak. But he's looking over to us right now. It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay, Gani.
Okay, game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Both of the compositions have been set in stone, and this time, Super Ken has opted to go for an assassin, a Nolan in the jungle. Now, if you guys had to choose which one had the better composition for this game, we'll start with you, Colius. Who would you choose?
TLID.
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 TLID?
Yeah.
Okay, 2-0 for TLID. I'm actually wondering what the casters are thinking. Hopefully we get a little bit of an insight as to what Arashi thinks, especially about the drafts. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 between the Red Robots and TLID in the first upper bracket. We're gonna throw it over to our casters.
Round 2 will commence for the Red Robots against the Cavalry. This time around, El Momento once again, Arashi, on a different hero that can create this momentum.
Momentum is the name of the game, man. And I'm getting flashbacks, nightmares to the old utility support meta, right? The Angela, along with a Phobias with an Alpha. So many ways for Team Liquid to just get prio, get aggressive laners to just get rolling. And on top of that, imagine you're trying to open up the map against a Cho, a Phobias, and an Alpha, dude. It's just so terrifying. But on the top side, this is the strong side for Bigatron. Eman has to try and assert his dominance once more. Fabian in the area is definitely feeling a bit of pressure. We'll have to see, though, if Witty can perform the same way Keyboy did and kind of throw a wrench into the plans of this take wheel. Same way
Oh, what? Mid lane action first blood falls for team. And what happened? I think Supercan just invested the retribution on towards, Yehezkiel, and he didn't even have the time to use the flicker as well. So it was comboed with the
Sacred Hammer?
Sacred Hammer redraw.
The push.
Once again,
So good.
now in the mid lane is so Witty. So that rotation early from Witty top lane actually caused them damage.
Looking at the emblem by IndieHome, though, Bargain Hunter for both the gold laners.
I mean, it's just super Lucan. I think it's going at it.
But yeah, if you look at Team Liquid ID, a lot of emphasis on the wilderness blessings, the agilities. They want the movement speed, man. They know they need to outmaneuver Bigatron Alpha. They want to make use fully of the high pressure fighter composition. But now against a Tigreal, not level 4 just yet. They're gonna try and rush it down.
TLID has more space here to take the turtle, and it seems like Fabian will claim the first feud of the game. 100% still for Fabian in that turtle take. Not even turtle. The Lord is also taken all of them by Fabian so far in this series. But right now, Pikachu and Alpha, they're kind of in control of the game just a tad bit, Arashi.
Just a tad bit, but the jungle is a whole different story, man. Bigatron once more is having the difficulty of Super Ken getting zoned out. In this early game, the Cho, the Phobias, every one of them, if they get their hands on Super Ken, he's gonna be in a load of trouble. So they have to wait a bit longer. But for now, man, this Alpha is just farming up a storm again and again.
Oh. Seems like now that's gonna be an engage, but simple flicker there just to disengage.
So 2 overreactions there coming in from both of the teams. The secret or the implosion just to cancel out the kick coming in from Witty. And now Fabian might be in trouble.
Sacred Hammer, that's a 2-man knockup.
Oh, never mind.
Damage isn't there. He actually, with the DPS, TLI, he might find a connection. Art Guard invested to save King.
Oh man, Fabian said, call the ambulance, but not for me.
Just wants to go back to just fighting back against Bigatron, man. He doesn't care about the disadvantages. On the strong side for Bigatron, Eman is trying just to punish. But Aaron Shiki, man, this kid's laning is just something to be amazed by. We saw him get solo killed by Eman earlier, but you know, Eman is one of the best, one of the most intelligent gold laners in Mpl-Id. And around Shiki, having an okay time dealing with that. So it's all about this mid lane pressure. And the Cho, as we can see, has so much more to offer than the Tigreal. Tigreal will require someone else to open up the map, and unless Super Luke participates in some of those fights, he can't really be as risky as Witty is doing on this Cho.
Top lane though, I don't think there's gonna be any engage. Now, round 2 of the objective battle in the second game. What's gonna be the fix here, Irashi, for Pikachu Alpha?
I don't think they can even go for this. They have to go for some kind of pick off first. Possibly onto Aran right here.
Let's see. Can Mlbb find still the perfect mute of the series? Pikachu Alpha looking for an engage. Aran pops the Inferno Pursuit. But that is still Fabian. That's an implosion! 4-man implosion! And that's the last. Pikachu Alpha actually finds a better trade with a Mon. Free hitting Super Luke finds the double.
Definitely a W for Pikachu Alpha. They lost the objectives, but who cares? They got the kills, 3 of them at them.
3 kills on the early game pressure fighters of Team Liquid ID. Definitely a massive W. Oh, Aaron Shiki.
Oh, he's stuck. 7-4 popped. Entropy will not save Aaron's life. Good setup. 2v1.
Wow, that was a very Aaron Shiki-like mistake coming in from him.
Yeah, I mean, overextending there, knowing that his team is kind of behind due to the outcome of that turtle fight. But Team Liquid, you gotta be a bit more careful when they're grouping up like that. The implosion is such a great tool, especially in the hands of El Momento. Key, well known for performing well, finding the right moments when he's on these massive AoE engage tools. But Team Liquid is a team that knows how to adapt, so you can't expect it to happen. But look at this.
Implosion. That's the retry. That's just Weedy though. That's another information for Bigatron or for Mlbb.
A reminiscence of Beloyski versus Keyboy the last match. Every time Keyboy was in the vicinity, it's always implosion, implosion, implosion. Doesn't care who's the target as long as I get one.
In this case, it's different though. If Keyboy is, if Key, sorry, is forced to actually use the implosion onto one single member, that might mean that they can't really contest the fight at all.
Oh, Dragon on towards the Roamer, and that will be enough damage for Key to pop the flicker. In the mid lane is going to be 2v1, but Aran holds his ground. So both teams here just still trying to find the connection. And Bigatron though, 1,000 gold lead.
Look at the setup here. Team Liquid ID already in position. They left the Angela on the bottom side. Haskell even backs away further, knowing that it's about that macro play that they're gonna use to try and get an advantage in this fight.
Know if the Dragon does so far from Weedy, so they have to wait for this to actually. There you go, Weedy, it's a play.
Yep, looking for the jet way of Dragon finds Super Ken, but now the turtle takes Super Ken, finds the first dude. That's gonna be the final slash as well. Pops. Oh, that's gonna be Weedy actually taking down Super Luke next as well. It's a 3-4-2. Mlbb, Spirit of Alpha. What a connection.
Who won, Irashi? 3 kills and 2 plus the objective?
Well, who did the turtle actually go to?
It was Super Ken.
Oh, Super Ken.
Super Ken got it.
All right, so there was a steal technically, but Aaron Shiki, what are these items, dude? Man, I thought in that fight earlier it was all the alpha, but look at this, come on.
Off the Shadow Force, now Key invested the conceal as well, but Aaron Shiki, too slick with it. In the bottom lane, it's going to be Super Ken looking for an angle. But Fabian is still too tanky now with one item in hand. Now in the bottom side or in top lane, Aaron Shiki with the Witty. They find the connection on towards him on, and that's Aaron Shiki picking up the extra goal.
Oh!
He isolated wrong for Ray, buddy. And that's Aaron collecting the double.
Hook, line, and sinker for both Key and Eman. They thought they could pick off Aaron Shiki, but the Uno first card coming from Mlbb.
Might be more to go here. Witty looking for Super Ken.
Good spot. But that is just him trying to zone out. Perhaps baiting the retribution, but Super Ken still holds his ground. Mlbb, the recovery.
Dude, I'm the analyst, but explain to me what the heck is Team Liquid ID's mid-game? Every single time, even when they snowball or they get behind in the early game, this mid-game somehow allows them to just catch back up and gain the advantage. Now using the macro pressure, now using Witty.
Moreno, bottom lane, they will not commit on towards the just yet though. Fabian spots Witty. Witty actually isolated and taken down, punished. Bigatron Alpha finds the better trade.
Do they have enough time here? It's a 4v5 for Bigatron Alpha. Not much of a gold lead. They have the El Momento. Can they actually pull the trigger?
Flicker implosion! That's gonna be Mlbb responding though as Super Luke finds the kill. Bigatron Alpha, they managed to find the better trade, but Moreno uses the IMU defensively with the Spear of Alpha in hand.
Whoa.
Oh, that's the Spear of Alpha, the OG one, and that was Yeskiel flickering to find the kill. Bigatron Alpha, they're low. Can they find the recovery? Oh, Purify is still there. Now Weedy looking for a space.
Goodness!
Aaron Shiki shreds him down.
They got the kill. They got what they want. But the pressure towards the Lord Pin. Mlbb cut them all.
What is this pressure from Aaron Shiki when he didn't have the Holy Crystal just yet? We see Nitans pop up when they get the 3-item power spike, but only with the Starlium, he was able to do all that for his team. Team Mlbb taking advantage of the macro pressure, taking advantage of the sustain built in from the Angela. They're able to outpoke Bigatron, force them to go for a fight with low HP bars, and Aaron Shiki just pops off. 2k gold lead advantage for Team Mlbb.
See here in the mid lane. Yeah, I mean, Bigatron, they will just have to sacrifice their turret.
Oh, and the bad thing is, it's not a ton on the other side, plus a T-Girl. It's only a T-Girl with Amon that kind of falls off compared to Aaron Shiki's potential in the late game. Oh my goodness!
Aaron Shiki with the entropy, very aggressive.
What?
Oh, bottom side.
Wasn't enough to take the takedown. My goodness, Superkin with the calculation. He finds a solo, and that is going to be Mlbb. -1. Spear of Alpha connecting. Glorious Pathway defensive. And Super Luke is on stone. Super Luke holds on, but he will fall. Mlbb looking for an angle. Aaron Shiki finds the connection, and he will claim the double.
Once again, El Momento stopped by that sliver of CC coming in from Iran. The Clairvoyant, he read that one perfectly.
Dude, again, the team fighting understanding. Even Fabian there, knowing exactly when and where to use that Spear of Alpha to throw off the calculation of Bigatron. It's so good. Even when Superken came from the back and tried to flank Aaron, he was ready for it. I'm guessing it must be Witty, right? We've seen it before in the golden moments. Let's look at the replay here, presented by the official tournament smartphone, Samsung Galaxy S24 FE. It was initially looking really good, but Fabian just sustained so much, and Aaron initially kind of held back because he can't dive along with his team.
Oh my God.
Actually just stays in the back and does the damage. We know how Witty shot calls, man. Hey, if they do A, we do B. If they do B, we do C. He has all of these plan Bs, backup plans for his team. I think that's what's kind of denying Bigatron any chances of catching Team Liquid ID off guard.
In a way, Weedy has a better code than the robots themselves. They have better algorithm at this point.
He's a programmer.
Weedy the Wise. He's an AI, meanwhile.
Yep, now with the entry V Hot Wave Dragon as well. Revitalize!
No way.
Purify.
That's
but
the
they will not survive.
Ooh.
That's Super Luke. Shredded down, and he will fall as well. Iman very low, but Aaron Shiki, he's just free hitting his man. Now with the Moreno, but Fabian finds an angle to take down Iman. 3 members now down and out, and Mlbb, they're looking for the base turrets.
Hammer just strikes.
Superken survives barely. The Mlbb, they can end as Moreno flickers out, but now he will have to go to the base. Superken!
Oh my goodness!
But Iran is just better.
It's Key and Super Luke on the other side. Can they actually do it?
Warriors pathway! Aaron Shiki will have to entropy out of that way, so Bigatron Alpha, they can and will defend. Iran now trying to buy time. Infinite Pursuit popped, but he will. And Shai falls, he could have
Ain't no way! Ain't no way!
of Dragon! Weedy the Wise finds it, but Iran falls. Aaron Shiki on the other side claims the double.
My goodness, they focus on the guy doing jumping jacks, but Aaron Shiki coming out of nowhere. Oh man, who would have thought this kind of beat down? The game ain't over just yet, but so far, the cavalry is absolutely dominating the robots.
When we talk about the targeting of Aaron Shiki, man, he saw a low HP Super Luke and he's like, I don't care about the horse. We're the real horses. I want the damage dealers in the back. He shreds them down. Superken!
Oh, good night! Good night, Super Ken. Tlid claims the Lord. The assassin gets assassinated. What is the world that we're living in right now? We are living in Aaron's world.
He is the main character. No two ways about it. Now pushing for the base tower with Widdy. Just pressuring. Bigatron Alpha can defend without the Lord in the picture, but Eman
Have the Shaman Force. That will intimidate, and Tlid, they will take it slow. They know they have the Lord, and they will utilize the Lord properly.
I have to find something here. The El Momento has to be momenting. But right now, what do you do against this Purify coming in from Arasuke? Wishing Lantern!
Lantern.
Rashi, you have to take over!
Usually we see a win of nature, I think, because you want an extra bit of survivability, but he's going for that.
How about that? T finds the Tig. They collapse. Amon falls. Glorious Pathway, desperate one. But Tlid, they're a force to be reckoned with. And with this Bigatron Alpha, they will have to suffer another loss. Ladies and gentlemen, Tlid is at match point.
I mean, if they keep on playing like this, what is the ceiling? What is going to be end product? The end product of these youngsters. They came to the league. They conquered all of them on the second team and first team of MPL. All of them. Most improved. Rookie of the season. MVP. But you have this guy right here, Aaron Chiki, absolutely demolished. Bigatron Alpha turning into Bigatron Beta.
Dude, the villain energy from Aaron Shiki is unreal. He blasted through the scene out of nowhere in a scene with a lot of experience. Outstanding gold laners. He says, none of you are a match for me. 11-1 on an Natan. What the heck is going on?
Man, oh man. At this point, what's gonna be the adjustment? What is the answer to these youngsters, to these rookies? These are the vets. They've been here since Season 5 for Key, for a lot of time. This is the debut of them in the main stage of the Indonesian highest peak of Mlbb esports. What is the answer?
They need to hit the reset button and reprogram their system. Tlid, it seems like they read and they read Bigatron like a book. Take a look at that spacing by Fabian. Perfection.
Just finds the moment, man. Team Liquid, Bigatron has to find a way to beat them out in these team fights, because in these skirmishes, they just seem unstoppable, man. Even if Bigatron Alpha can get a lead in the early game, it doesn't even matter. They have to understand how to mitigate all of this potential in the mid game. The Team Liquid mid game, dude, it's unreal.
Man, and the gusto to go for a Wishing Lantern. To hell with defensive item. To hell with the damage coming in from the other side. I have Reedy for me. I have Yeskiel. These are the guys that I trust to protect me. And in the end, it paid off. And I trust the panelists to break this down even more. Eterna, take it away.
Thanks, Jeffin. Thank you, casters, as well, for game number 2. It's now match point for the Cavalry. Tlid 2-0 against Bigatron Alpha right now. There's a lot of things that we need to unpack for that particular game. Colius, I know we're excited, but like, the mic, bro. Like, we good? Like the mic's not helping him right now. So
no worries. I'll take over.
To realize, what should we talk about first?
Can I just grab that phone? I want to call my friend. His name is Mirko.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
But I think I'll do it later because now he's sobbing in the background and he's shaking.
Fine. That's fine.
But it's insane, Team Liquid ID. The level, the magnitude they're able to achieve with this playstyle that they have. We talked about how this Harith might be a bully for Aaron Chiki, but no. He was able to get the kills. He was able to get the spacing, the momentum with the Natan. How do you go 4 items, 11 minutes, 10 minutes even? Like, what's worse than a Natan pick let go? A Natan pick let go and having 4 items in 11 minutes.
What a nasty performance.
Nasty.
From Aaron.
Sheesh.
Oh my god.
I'm not gonna say anything.
The positioning, the timing when he used the Entropy, using the Purify even.
Yeah, the Purify.
Yeah, to dodge the implosion. Oh, crazy.
But we gotta give credits to Widdy as well. This guy was the enabler. He was also the canceller. I don't think that's a word, but he was the denier. He was basically denying key of the implosion engages because the Cho can just bob and weave inside and outside of the team fight. He has that gap close. He has that CC as well to just kick away, you know, key. And they also the targeting has been very, very good. They were targeting the lockdown from Bigatron Alpha, and it works very, very brilliant. Aaron Shiki was a monster.
So, Weedy, if you're listening right now, I just want to apologize because this entire time I considered him with low mechanics.
He said it.
Yeah, and I'm a fan of this team. I always thought that he had the brains but not the mechanics, but it turns out those subtle movements is what has been so important throughout the entirety of the regular season.
He proved it to you. Yeah.
Up until this point, and he was the facilitator to allow Aaron Shiki to get this POTG. But that was an amazing performance. That was presented to you by the official tournament smartphone Samsung Galaxy S24 FE, by the way, as we look into his highlights as well.
Well, scot-free. It's very, very fun playing the time when you, number one, can hit the backline. Number two, you have so much control. It's protect Mr. President. Number one, it was really opening up the space. Number two, it was Yehezkiel with the hard guard always on the backup towards Aaron Shiki. But more than so, this guy has incredible mechanics. This guy can space out very easily.
Even on that moment, Super Ken looked confused. He want to, like, flanking to Aaron Shiki, but Aaron Shiki is so free. The damage is so high.
Yeah.
That's why he needs to go back, but it's too late.
And also that cheeky Wishing Lantern purchase in the end, I think it was more to burst down the tankiness of Bigatron Alpha because they have a lot of backline, a lot of frontline that was strong enough. Take a look at this.
Yeah, I love this moment because Aaron Shiki just changed their target to Key because they know that Key have a CC AoE that's so big that can stop him. That's why either than Super Luke, he better to aim for Key.
He entropies forward. What is entropying backwards? I entropy forward.
So aggressive. And you know the damage that he dealt, that was even, it was already insane after Divine Glaive, and then he had to Wishing Lantern on top of that. Like, that shows confidence, and that also shows how much dominance they had at that point of the game.
Yeah. And look how confident Aaron Shiki emblem is. He's not using any defensive emblem, using the Trill, the Mystery Shop, and even the Weakness Finder.
Yeah, he went for the Weakness Finder. Usually you want to go for the QC for that sustainability, especially in a lane against Harith. Yeah, but he goes all out damage. Look at that. Even the Bargain Hunter for faster item itemization.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
why,
like
because of the Mystery Shop.
Yeah, because of the Mystery Shop, yeah. So, wow, I have no words for this guy. And yeah, Wishing Lantern to just add even more burst damage, and that little projectile that you get when you proc it, it's very, very good. Team look at ID.
We did see a small mistake from Aaron in the beginning.
In the beginning, yeah.
In the beginning, yeah.
There was an overextension, anything in the first couple minutes.
Yeah, also not even in the first minutes. I think in that last base push where it was only Iran and Aaron Shiki, there was also an overextension, I feel like. But thankfully, the entropy was up. Because if he did not have entropy, he would be dead by that moment. But thankfully, he had the entropy. He entropied defensively, went out the base, and he went away unscathed.
Yeah, because the gold and the level difference is too high.
Yeah.
If that's on par, I think Bigatron can seize the moment.
You don't wanna get a kill against an Atan if your team look at ID.
I mean, I wouldn't call it an overextension. I'd call it, giving Miracle a little bit of happiness.
All right, Team Look at ID fangirl.
Just like a, small, Miracle, let's give this a little bit. Okay, never mind, let's take it back.
I love that point of view.
GPM 957, by the way.
That's not rich. That's generational wealth. It's insane.
Man, and technically, so what do Bigatron Alpha do? Right? I mean,
I don't know.
What's the solution for they're at match point, Bigatron Alpha. I don't think they want to drop to the lower brackets.
Like it or not, maybe they have to. They have to drop to the lower bracket, but
if this continues,
yeah, they will. And this might be, I think not our first 3-0, but the first 3-0 for today. That might be the case, but I feel like for Bigatron Alpha here, the draft is just kind of all around the place.
So. I love the pattern also. Yesterday, we see 3-0 on the first match.
Yes.
And the second match, it's 3-2.
3-2.
Are on this first match gonna be 3-0 like yesterday?
And then RRQ Geek Fam 3-2.
Aether don't want to jinx it.
You know, Team Liquid ID was winning, right? And Cornelius was like bringing out his Samsung phone. He wanted to Instagram story everything. And he was like, no, stop it. Don't jinx my team.
Stop.
Don't jinx
Put
my
it
team.
down.
No.
yeah.
I have
Please
to-
turn off the phone.
I have to be a chefin.
Ah.
Okay.
You know, yesterday, so the audience will know, when Geek Fam is like almost win, look at Shevin's lips. It's
Trembling. He was trembling.
trembling so hard.
Goddamn.
I'm chill. It's fine. guys.
Chill. Demure. No words for Aaron Chiki's brilliance. This guy, I remember that one, I think, golden moment that mic check that Aaron Chiki had. So basically he said, kita di sini buat kita buktiin kalau kita pantas, boy. Which means we are here to prove that we deserve to be here. And they deserve to be here.
And that's why I love the mentality. For
The mentality, yeah.
Insane.
Because there's a lot of talks like, you know, Team Liquid ID, they have never been to playoff. These guys are the MDL boys. No, they are now the MPL men.
And here's the thing, right? Because if we're talking about M6, let's go all the way to M6. Let's say TL-ID make it to the grand finals. A lot of people are saying, you know, TL-ID, I don't think they're gonna make it. They don't have the experience. They're a team full of rookies and so on and so forth. Iran has never been on an international stage. He's the veteran of the team.
Yeah.
Never been to an international stage, but the mentality that they've been portraying from the regular season against like just star-crossed players all around into the playoffs now, I don't know. I have high hopes for this team if they do make it to the grand finals and if they do represent Indonesia for M6.
But it's a fact that a lot of people doubting them
Of course.
about the mentality because a lot of rookies, it's their first time to place on the playoff, especially on the big stage like Mpl-Id.
But Kolius, mind is power.
Mine is power.
Mind is power.
Power.
You can be a team full of veterans, millions of experience, and then you go home in the group stage. Not pointing to any team, by the way.
Got it.
Realize.
Hey, you gotta give some competition.
But if your mind isn't in the right place, and you don't have the confidence to go up against these top tier regions, by the way, I don't think you can go far.
I think it's the fact that they have nothing to lose. It's their first year. It's their freshman year in MPL. You know, just have fun. Just enjoy the moment, live the moment. Going to M6 is a bonus for them.
Oh, guys, please. Oh, I'm getting excited. Okay, calm down.
Take a deep breath.
It's so hard for me to be a desk host and remain neutral. I have to remain neutral.
You know what I turn on?
I am professional.
I'll fire you up. Team Liquid ID, they're going to M6.
That is so bad to say right now. How could...
But
Guys, I swear if Bigatron comes back.
But my prediction is on the grand final, it's RRQ versus TL-ID.
Mine was Fnatic Onyx.
So
Mine
both
was
of them
Fnatic
got the
Onyx.
M6.
As well.
Oh, and if we're talking about this, rumors said that it was Fnatic Onyx and Bigatron that were the strongest regions in Mpl-Id.
Well, I mean, the way you look at it is that sometimes it's just the scrims, it's the practices. It all goes down in the playoffs. And
That
maybe,
they are on the stage.
yeah, they're on the stage. You know, you gotta make the decision making right there. It's hard. For Team Liquid ID,
Okay,
you have nothing to lose.
I am going to remain neutral, ladies
Neutral.
and gentlemen, and we're going to talk about Bigatron Alpha for a little bit here. Because again, match point, if they lose another game, they will be going to the lower brackets. So what do you think can Bigatron Alpha change? Is there a certain draft strategy that can save Bigatron here?
To be honest,
For me, maybe they can start to open Suyo. And they can start to choose the first pick. If Suyo is opened by the TL-ID, they can play with Suyo.
But
Even
they
though,
were first pick in the second game.
yeah, but TL-ID is not giving Suyo anymore, right?
yeah, they have to contest the studio, I feel like.
Contest the Suyo, so maybe don't ban like obvious hero. They just can open it, so the opponents will ban it.
To be honest, I'm stuck in the cul-de-sac because so far, Bigatron Alpha's picks has been their picks. You know what I mean? It's like he gets his momentum hero. It's El Momento with the Tigreal. You know, Valentina with Moreno with the Valentina. It's going to be his strong pick as well. Aman with the Beatrix with the
Harriet.
It's typical Aman lane bully pick. And Super Ken with the Assassins much more comfortable. But then again, they lose, so I don't really know where the loophole is. It's so hard to dictate what Bigatron Alpha is supposed to do when Team Liquid ID are playing like their lives are on the line.
Because technically TL-ID are also playing to their comfort. This is a TL-ID draft.
That's true.
From game 1, from game number 2.
TL-ID.
Yeah.
So do Bigatron Alpha need to get out of their comfort zone maybe to look for that loophole?
Give Ken his fighters again, I feel like.
Yeah,
Give
for
him the
me,
fighter.
but I still have the same statement like before. Before the game to start, it's fighting fire with fire.
Yeah. You gotta fight fire with
Because
fire.
if you are trying to fighting with a little bit of water, the fire is still there.
That's true.
So what is this? Are you expecting Bigatron to pick up a fighter instead, or you want them both to be forced on an assassin
Yeah,
pick?
play a very aggressive game. Maybe that's the key.
So you want to force an assassin showdown between Super Ken and Fabian? Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Fabian
Totally sure.
and Super Ken.
Totally sure.
Interesting perspective.
Because they already tried that making Fabian using a Vital Heroes, but it doesn't work.
I don't
Well,
know.
If you want to put it in a way, you can ban out the heroes of Fabian.
Yeah, and they still have chance. If they lose, they're gonna go to the lower bracket.
Yeah,
If
so-
they don't try it now and they meet again later, it's gonna be dangerous.
I think it's still fine.
So choose second pick, choose red side.
Yeah.
Full respect ban on Fabian.
Full respect that. But I feel like it's not on Fabian as well because, well, he has been playing the Alpha only, right? I mean, the Suyo, yeah, you take it away. And Alpha, I mean, Nolan, we haven't seen him play the Nolan in the playoffs, but in regular season, oh my god,
He
he's
was
a
a
monster.
monster.
But yeah, it's just hard to pinpoint where the problem is because you can't really force Fabian to ban his heroes out. Maybe the Fanny is a respect ban towards Fabian as well. To be honest, I'm also confused. Maybe, for me, I think Qualio says it like, you know, he wants to put Ken on an assassin. I feel like Ken has to try the fighters. You gotta put him on a fighter first. I feel like the Suyo, again, can be contested. If not the Suyo, it's gonna be the Alpha. You snatch the Alpha from Fabian, force him into a Nolan maybe, force him into a Bane. I don't know, like, yeah, it's going to be complicated for Bigatron Alpha.
Because how would you do that? Because you only have 3 slots anyway.
Yeah.
And Fabian has quite a variety of heroes that he has in his pocket, right? He can go for all the assassins. So that's Hayabusa, Link, Fanny, Nolan, Suyo, potentially. Alpha. What else has
X-Borg.
There you go, right? What about Weedy? Let's shift things over to Weedy. Do you think maybe a Weedy respect ban can negate the pressure that TL-ID has from the early game to the mid game?
I think if you are trying to aim with it, it's a total disaster because the other will get a lot of comfort heroes.
Yeah.
For me, the gameplay of Weedy is like if you're watching a superhero movie, Weedy is the sidekick. But it really helps a lot for the superhero.
You know, honestly, I would double down on that and be like, have you guys watched Money Heist?
Yeah.
You know Professor?
Yeah.
That's Weedy.
Ah, he's the mastermind. But yeah, I feel like banning out Weedy's heroes isn't necessarily a wise approach. I mean, yeah, just ban out the Mathilda, that's it. Weedy also plays a couple of heroes, right? I mean, you said it, like, you doubt out his mechanics. I also kind of doubt out his mechanics because I feel like when it comes to Cho, when it comes to the mechanic execution-based heroes, Yaoi is way better. But I feel like Weedy is also very, very apt with these heroes. So I feel like for Weedy, it's hard to target ban him, and it's not a wise choice. You're just throwing away your bans to him.
Okay, so essentially, the conclusion from the panel is either from Kolios, force them both on an assassin, or from Realize, force Super Ken, somehow facilitate him in the drafts to get a fighter.
Yeah.
That's a change.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't think, also, blind picking Valentina, I don't like it. I don't really like blind picking Valentina. Sure, it denies Team Liquid ID from a lot of the AoEs and the CCs, you know, the big ultimates like maybe a Luoyi ultimate or rather something
Eve.
else. Yeah, Eve as well. Yes, it is a good deny pick, but again, the problem is the setup. When it comes to neutral objectives, Team Liquid ID, they're faster on the pounds, on getting their prio onto that. So they need good setup, and I don't think keep picking Valentina is the right option.
Yeah, and TL-ID is denying Moreno Valentina by picking that not useful ultimate that cannot be copied by IMU.
Wait, previous game, what ultimates were there?
There were a lot
The Way of
actually.
the Dragon,
Angela.
Entropy, Hard Guard. Yeah, I feel like Hard Guard is also a good ultimate
Hard
copy.
Guard is the best option.
Yeah, but it's not a playmaker.
You cannot use skills like Angela when
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
using Hard Guard, using Valentina.
And Moreno needs a skill that can
Damage.
initiate.
Yeah, initiate.
That's why it's not efficient. Maybe Moreno can think about using Yi like yesterday.
Yeah.
All right,
Play the
maybe a change onto Moreno's picks. What about the high-lows? It feels like 2 games in a row, Bigatron keep opting for this high-lows in the first picking phase as Prio, by the way.
Also, I don't like the high loss. Super Luke is the enabler for Bigatron Alpha. Don't give him a statue hero. Don't give him a punching bag. Don't give him a sandbag. You give him something that can really make the play. You give him maybe the Phobias. You give him maybe the Khalid maybe if needs be. Because with the high loss, Super Luke is just limited on what he can do as the playmaker. He's just receiving damage, so yeah, maybe try something else aside from the high loss. You know, when you lose 3 games in a row, I feel like you have to change your gameplay.
And don't feel limited too.
That's true.
Don't feel limited. Don't limit yourself. Get yourself a Samsung Galaxy, guys, because with the Samsung Galaxy, you saw earlier on screen that you guys can actually sit over at the front in the Samsung Galaxy zone, and don't limit your hair care. Hair cam by Head and Shoulders.
Oh, okay.
Bro, that got me for a second.
What? What got you?
I thought it was a girl.
Oh!
The hair.
You know what we say when
Magnificent.
Arashi was getting excited when see the hair, but
I think he'll still be excited, to be honest.
You know what we say?
It's so excited.
Wait, it looks like my friend, honestly.
Oh,
He looks like one of my friends.
like a special friend? Or
A special friend.
a special friend.
Yeah.
That's nice.
A mentor.
A mentor.
Yeah.
Do you want hair like that though?
I do. I kind of hate my hair, so I think I'm use Head and Shoulders soon.
Gani has like 1 million of it, by the way.
Wow.
So like you can ask him. But speaking about asking, let's ask the audience on what they think on how Bigatron can win in game number 3. Earlier on, it was, I think, early game pressure or objectives. So 62% now target Aaron Shiki. You guys change your minds a lot, huh? Okay.
I think it's hard to targeting Iron Shiki, especially when he's using like Nathan using Purify. And they already tried before. They tried to aim for Aaron Shiki, but it doesn't work. But for me, it's still play with the assassins.
Because essentially in game number 1, they were targeting Aaron Shiki.
They were.
Yet they still won the game.
I mean, the effort has been done from game number 1, isn't it? Like, they picked up the Kadra as well, right? To play the Pekhoff against Aaron Shiki. You can't really target that much of a problem towards Aaron Shiki because this guy just plays it very, very well. I mean, he is aggressive, but it is calculated as well. So I feel like for Bigatron Alpha, again, just go back to the picks that we mentioned this. The fighters, for me, for Coleos, maybe it's the assassins, and just draft something good for Super Luke to enable. The reason why it was so hard to lock down Aaron Shiki was because the only enabler was that Tigreal, the Hands of Ki.
Sure. They have Khalid and Edith before.
Yeah, we
as,
also
as
still,
the option.
Yeah, Khalid, Edith, we still have that available on the table, but Super Luke is given what, a high loss, so yeah, you gotta change something.
And technically, they might be able to. They've actually opted for second pick this time around
Ah.
on red side. So that's a little bit of a change from the previous game that we saw.
Yeah.
How do you think the banning phase should look like in order to, 1, facilitate Moreno, 2, facilitate Super Ken, and 3, facilitate Luke on those heroes?
I think facilitate Super Ken. If you want to really win it out, you can try to get the Suyo, but if the Suyo is banned, you can maybe shift your gameplay towards Super Luke as the enabler. You know, ban out a few XPs that might, you know, hurtle him down. So yeah, a lot of approaches for Team Luke.
So you have to enabler, right?
Yeah.
With Key and Super Luke, but we're gonna see it later.
Yep.
All right, let's jump straight in, ladies and gentlemen. Match point. Drafting phase for Mlbb right now. This is the drafting phase presented to you by the official tournament smartphone Samsung Galaxy S24 FE. And let's see the change. Mlbb go for the 1-1 and the Phobius ban, just like in game number 1. Bigatron, Chip, Fanny. The third ban that Bigatron went for in game number 1 was Suyo. Now, this is where the change happens. Do you think they are gonna let it go? Maybe force TL-Id?
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, like, just like game one, and it was used by Yaskiel as well. Suyo banned out, so Alpha, I feel like could be a good pick here for Team Mpl-Id if they want to snatch out and cone down the choices of Super Ken. But yeah, Matilda is also left open. I forget. There
Alpha Zuxin.
Alpha Zuxin.
Yeah. And they are using the first, the drop from the first game, right?
Yeah.
From TL-Id. So combining with Matilda, I think they still can use Pulvius if they want to on the XP lane and on the mid lane. Against Zuxin, I think maybe Eve is the best option.
Eve, yeah.
Against Alpha, against Zuxin.
They can go for the Eve, yeah. Zuxin has a lot of rage. Eve does have the poke, so in lane, Eve does kind of neutralizes the lane. It doesn't really lose the Zuxin, doesn't really win anyways, win as well. So I think Zuxin can go against the Eve, and the Nolan will come out, and the Herald. Nolan is a comfort pick for Fabian. Can't wait to see myself watch Fabian use the Nolan.
Everything is within my
They're crossing things out, man. Because this was the same matchup that we saw earlier on, and Bigatron were unable to get these objectives against the Alpha on Fabian. So we'll see the success coming in from Bigatron this time around to control that early game, and potentially with the early objective secure, they can utilize that as a domino effect. Tigreal does get picked up here by Key. We saw that Cho was one of the main issues for Key to get those implosions down, and they also see that potential in the Eve as a winning lane against the Jushin, so they're gonna ban it out here in the second phase.
Yeah, and I think Nathan gonna be target banned by TL-Id because it's very dangerous if they can combo it using the Alpha and Tigreal.
Yeah.
Nathan gonna get the free position, but from the top 5 kills, we see that Skylar is number 1 with 199.
One away from 200.
One way.
But the thing is, that's Iman at number 3, and number 4 is actually Aaron Shiki.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah, he's the rookie, but again, still going for the numbers. He can catch up quite a bit, but it's hard.
It's not about the numbers, it's like, I always thought that Aaron Shiki was the more aggressive gold laner.
But Iman is well known for being the Terminator, so I think he does have that under his belt. But now back to the bans. Yves, Aurora taken away because Yves, Aurora are two good poke heroes against Zuxin and can be the setter as well for Team Mpl-Id. Natan banned out, like Olius mentioned.
Edith might be the best option from TL-Id because Edith, with the crowd control, he can aim and he can disturbing Nolan when he wants to go flanking, but Beatrix.
Wow. They're target banning
The counter heroes from Eman.
the second phase, yeah. Okay.
Here we go, Khalid, the enabler, finally. We're gonna see it from Super Luke.
For Super Luke, yeah, Khalid will be very good. I mean, for Bigatron Alpha, they will have a lot of prio in mid. They have the Khalid, they have the Zuxin. With the Lantern Flare, you can always poke away your enemies, zone away your enemies, and the Khalid from the XP lane might just walk up to the mid to shove it, get them ready for level, for turtle, the first turtle in the game. And the Alpha is going to be a very good setter for Bigatron Alpha as well. So at least this time, they have good setup for the turtle.
And now, I think for Yeskiel, Vexana is the lapse of if he wants to play with the utility.
Yeah.
And for the XP lane, they need a tanky one, a sustainable one, because Matilda is not a frontliner.
Gatot Kacha, maybe?
Yep.
Yeah, they will go for the Gatot Kacha and the Vexana.
Nice, guys.
4D chess. Corlius and Big Lives.
And Claude, what?
Okay, wait.
Talk to us about the Claude. We haven't seen the Claude in the playoffs just yet.
It's a weak side laner. It will definitely relinquish all the lead, especially against a Herald as well. It's gonna be bullying the Claude.
And a lot of heroes can cancel the Blasting Duet.
Yeah.
Using the Aeternal's Guard, using the Circling Eagle.
That's
even.
So why Claude?
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to play until the late
game. That's going to be the name of the game, but for objective takes, I feel like they have to rely on the 4. Eman will be having a very hard time against the Herald, and he will be the one farming his items for the late game.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Anything else to add, Colius? We're at match point here.
3-0 TL-Id.
3-0 TL-Id. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna throw it over to the casters now to bring us to this match point.
Questionable. I know unorthodox, you name it. But at this very point, Bigatron needs to pull something out of their bag. It's now or never for the robots for game number 3, their last lifeline, at least in the upper bracket, against the cavalry in TLID.
There was a time where I was saying that Team Liquid ID, they were willing to just go with all flickers, no purifies, but now we see the exact opposite. 3 purifies, man. They respect Key's El Momento moment, and I think it's more of the fact that they want to go and be the aggressor. They want to group up together, and they don't really want to have to spread apart to try and mitigate that implosion threat. Now in the wave clear department though, with the Gatot, man, with the Vexana as well as the Mathilda, I feel like the early game pressure will definitely favor Team Liquid ID.
Global warming, man, going green. You have skill, though.
Ooh.
With the pressure, able to
Man.
guiding win away.
Just the little things, man, coming in from Weedy. It's called Weedy the Wise for not for nothing, but right now Aaron Shiki might be in trouble. He smells something. No, he didn't.
No, with the final slash, the Purifier, and Shiki will fall. Now Fabian looking for the trade alongside Witty. Can they find seems like Mon with the BMI is able to get out.
Oh man, that was what I would call a rookie mistake. Gotta watch out for your side lanes or like the side of your map, man.
Ah, well, that's a great play again for Superken, knowing the aggressive potential of the Alpha. But again, Wilderness Blessing on 2 members, the mid lane and the AXP laner, and Master Assassin for Eman on the Claw, also with the tank emblem though, so he's trying to make sure that he can survive long enough against the aggression, the onslaught from the side of Team Liquid ID. And Aaron Shiki himself, is not concerned. He wants to scale up, going with the with the weapon mastery as well.
So they know it's a weak lane, and right now Weedy might be getting caught out. No, Supercan, that's a resource, but it's a dodge. It's not gonna bite on towards the turtle yet, Connie.
It seems like this time Bigatron Alpha, who has the Alpha, is able to find the newts, at least for now, and Supercan will collect the turtle, no problem. My goodness, Fabian, he's stuck. Moreno secures the kill now in the mid lane. Weedy with no spell in hand as well. He will fall from the Bigatron Alpha aggressiveness in the early game.
For the first time, this is not the TLID that we see in the first 2 games. Meanwhile, Kido, Explosion!
Oh, no Purify, and that is going to be Aaron Shiki taken down twice this game. Bigatron Alpha, this lead is 2,500 goal, and we're not even 3 minutes in.
Rashi, you gotta tell me what happened in this match, man.
Well, it seems like Bigatron Alpha are kind of used to the movements, the early game rotations from Team Liquid ID. We saw a bit of that earlier, but now, with the Tsushin presence, with the fact that they have an Alpha on their hands this time, they're able to get the early win on the Turtle Pit, and even the ganks here, Superken. Look at how he's playing, man. He's farming a Storm, but every single moment he has, every single opportunity he has to try and go for a kill, he'll just wait around in one of these bushes on the side of the lanes. Ooh, 1v1.
Super Luke here opening things up for the Red Robots. Fabian pops the Retribution. Aran is able to find the assist, but Super Luke calm Raging Sandstorm, and he gets away.
Even in the bottom lane, Key once again wants to go for Aaron Shiki.
He will not commit the Purify just yet. There you go. But now with the Blazing Duet by Amon, actually pressuring Aaron Shiki, he falls. Weedy will not be able to assist him, and he will fall as well. Bigatron Alpha, what an early execution.
Man, they keep just targeting Aaron Shiki. The thing that in the gold lane, it's supposed to be a weak lane right now. It's a strong lane for Iman, and they're gonna take the turret.
I mean, this rinse and repeat, using that implosion on, at this point, onto Aaron Shiki twice or 3 times already. And at the same time, the mid lane, due to the Tsushin presence, can't really rotate around as well. So even though in theory there is some wave clear, due to the aggressive moves from Bigatron to zone away the laners from Team Liquid, they're getting a lot of advantage here.
Supercan finding the turtle. Perfect one as well. Now Oran is a little bit too greedy there, and he is punished. TLID now rotating with 4 in the bottom side, but it seems like Bigatron Alpha, they know and they read it. Looking to pressure more, and they're in the jungles of the cavalry.
I mean, goodness gracious, look at the gold leader, Rashi. 5.6k in a span of less than 5 minutes, so it's more than 1k. And the worst part is, this is just the early game.
Yeah, the turret gold isn't even down right yet, but okay.
Looking for an implosion play, but now he is knocked up. Flicker defensively, Super Luke from an angle. Mid turret falls. TLID, they will not be able to answer back. Opened up. with the positioning, Fabian, will he find something? Super Luke, so too tanky. Moreno is in the area as well, hovering. But Bigatron, man, they're steamrolling this game.
And they're getting a lot of turret advantage too, looking at the items. Whoa, hang on a minute.
That's a catch. Fabian falls. Clid now will not have his jungler again. Fabian punished twice. Bigatron Alpha, 6,000 gold lead. I repeat, 6,000 gold lead.
Man, the programs, the robot is overheating right now. They are just overclocking and putting all they have in this game, because this is the match point for the upper brackets, so the stakes are high. Thankfully though, if one of them loses in this match, they still have a chance in this playoffs.
All right, we'll have to wait and see though, because now Bigatron, they're pressuring hard using the Sushin pick, just cutting around behind the turrets and then using that to buy time for Eman to just shred down these turrets slowly but surely. The protection still is even active for Team Mpl-Id, but it won't even matter when they are zoned away this badly. Even when Moreno rotates away from the area, Team Mpl-Id is just forced to respect the potential, the possibility that he's around.
Circling Eagle committed that
Whoa.
Sacred Hammer to dodge away. Oh, early, placing the wet by Amon. Fabian actually very low. And Moreno jumps in. He will be stopped by Iran, but Bigatron Alpha, they know they will just hit the turtle.
Man, I know they're leading, but the way they disengaged the fight from Mpl-Id, there was nothing sort of masterful and immaculate. They could have gone, couldn't have gone better for them.
Problem is still the same though for Team Liquid. Can't really find a way to move forwards without really getting punished heavily. At a 9, almost 10k gold lead at 7 minutes. You're right, Sandstorm.
Super Luke and the implosion. That's Fabian punished, but he actually caught and he will fall. That's the first point now with Avatar from Iran. Doesn't connect though. Bigatron Alpha still in full control, but finally Mpl-Id puts a point on the board.
Risky dive, but it definitely pay off for Bigatron Alpha right now. 9.5 in 7.5 minutes. This is just, this is the most dominant game so far in the playoffs, even in the season.
At least one of the most dominant ones. Team Liquid, they're stuck on the defense. They don't really have the best high ground clear either. Having a Harith means that you're supposed to actually have a winning gold lane. You're supposed to have more ways to play from this gold lane, but because of the ganks in the early game, man, Aaron Shiki, the highlight of the last game, just can't do much.
See, Bigatron Alpha, they are still controlling the jungles of Mpl-Id. And take a look at the freeze lane, top lane. Mpl-Id, they're hungry. They need resources.
8 minutes and Eman has completed the Holy Trinity. Arashi, this is just not looking so good for Mpl-Id. What's going to be the answer here against this onslaught coming in from Key and also Super Luke?
Final Flash doesn't connect. Spear of Alpha doesn't connect. And Iran now is actually punished. Super Ken. Enough damage with the true damage that is in beta.
Whoa!
That's the blazing duet. Come on, BMI. Perfectly timed. 10 seconds for the first Lord. And that is still just Bigatron Alpha. 11,000 gold lead now.
Team Mpl-Id trying their best to try and find ways around, but even Iran, the man that should be the oppressive one, the ones that, the EXP laner that wants to be unkillable, rushing towards the backline, can't really do much here when he's this behind on the God of Kacha. This is an insane amount of gold lead though. And the fact that Bigatron Alpha can farm so efficiently on all of these picks doesn't make it any easier. The Claude can farm quick, the Alpha can too as well, and even the Khalid can help with the clearing, can help with the lane management too. Bigatron Alpha at this point have all of their bases covered, even giving the purple buff to Moreno. They have all that they require to go for a decisive end, but can they do so? Unfortunately for them, with the Claude and the Tsushin being relatively short range, the siege potential isn't really too high, but it's more than enough to go and set up for a big dive.
They're just caged at this point. The horses are forced to hang out in the stables. Like, no grasses for you in the bushes.
Let's see, will this push towards them a game 4? Super Ken in the base. Lord is in the mid lane. Looking for the opening, not yet though. As base turret number 1 in the bottom side, Super Ken finds the Spear of Alpha. And that is one and done. He finds a flicker implosion. And that will be 3 members taken now, ladies and gentlemen. Bigatron Alpha with the reprogram. They actually force this series on towards a game 4.
They approach the game in a different way. And right now, finally, after 2 games, the retaliation that we expected to see from Bigatron Alpha. There's a reason that they are in this stage right now, in the top 4 of MPL Indonesia. They are not done just yet.
They're here to stay competitive. There's no way they're gonna let it end on a 3-0 note, man. You gotta make it competitive. And with that performance, it seems like they've cracked the code. They found a winning solution here, a winning formula on how to take down Team Liquid. Whether that's the lane pressure, whether that's the rotations onto the right members, the timing, the read onto the habits of the players, they have found something. And the robots are looking alive.
Man, oh man. The panelists, even us, expected this to go a 3-0 for Tlid. But they say no. We are here to fight, man. We are here for the M6 slot in Malaysia.
All right, man. We were talking about someone sobbing in the audience earlier, Shevin, but maybe with the silence of life, we can maybe see him jump up and down here in the audience. Shout out to Mirko, possibly celebrating the great performance right there. We thought that the second game right there from Team Liquid ID was so dominant, but it turns out it's even more dominant here from Bigatron when they do crack the code, when the programming really kicks in. Man, one of the most, if not the most dominant games we've seen in this season.
I mean, if you're just purely looking at the gold advantage per minute, I think it might be it, man. Like, they didn't really, they keep pushing on the pedal. They didn't stop.
What a game.
What a game indeed.
What a game for Bigatron Alpha.
You know what they're saying to us?
What?
Hey, casters, enough talking. Throw it to the panelists real quick. They didn't let us talk for too long at all. That game was only about 10 minutes.
And we're just gonna throw it to panelists right now to Eterna. What happened in that game?
I told you not to say 3-0.
Don't fight.
And then this is the result we get.
No.
It's not so, oh my.
No.
Guys,
Stop.
like,
Don't fight.
This is
Don't fight.
ridiculous.
Don't fight.
I specifically said not to curse Tlid.
But that's supposed to Liquid ID's team.
Famous last words. Tlid 3-0.
What does it even mean? I didn't say it.
Turns out to be a curse.
Well, it is a curse, and it means, Eterna, that we're not following a pattern, because it's not going to be a 3-0. It's at best, if you want your lovely team to win, it's going to be a 3-1. But if we take a look at the draft, Bigatron's Alpha draft isn't that bad. It's actually very good.
Because, here, that's what I mean when, like, fighting fire with fire.
Yeah.
They fight for the early game, and especially that the robots still have the gas in their tank.
Yeah, they do. They still have, and it proves to you that you can't always write them off, because that draft was actually very, very good, because they have enough setup now. See, this is what happens when you give Super Luke that initiation, that enabler, and then Key can again be the second line to continue doing the moments, to continue doing the initiation, and that is just full stacked. And Team Liquid ID, they couldn't do anything. That was like a 10-minute game.
Yeah, it was. To remind us, 10 minutes. But granted, the audience was kind of correct, right? From game number 1, they asked for Bigatron to have more of an objective-centric early game and to control the early game, and they were able to do that in game number 3. And then because of those rotations that they kind of had with the mid-prio, with the alpha happening as well, they were also able to punish Aaron Shiki in his gold lane too. So they checked all the boxes. You mentioned the fighter forced on Super Ken, and because they were able to get red side, they were able to achieve that. So now Bigatron Alpha have the blueprint as to how they're able to take it back from Tlid, and now they have the momentum. So let's crown our MVP, presented to you by the official tournament smartphone Samsung Galaxy S24 FE. And finally, with the space, without the Cho in the picture as well, Key was able to make some key plays.
Yeah.
And look at that TP, bro.
Now he's not alone. He's with Luke now. So there's 2 heroes that can enable, can initiate the team fights. And the strategy, I think, from Bigatron Alpha is working now.
Yeah. I mean, not only that, we also have the Alpha, right, behind Super Ken with the Spear of Alphas. They have been targeting Alan Chiki from the get-go. They don't want this Herod to bully the Claude, because why? Because the Claude apparently is a weak side gold laner, but in this scenario, they want to make it a strong side because they kept on ganking that lane. They kept on funneling the gold towards Eman, and Eman, it didn't feel like it was a hard Claude game. He wasn't even bullied that much. I don't think he even got picked up like 2 times, even 3 times with the Blazing Duet, and they had so much peel tools to really keep Eman alive.
And I think when he chooses Flicker as the battle spell, it's a smart move because he knows that a lot of dash abilities heroes on the Mpl-Id, so that's why he needs the Flicker to chase them down if they try to run away.
Wow. I mean, it's all perfect. Look, Super Luke. This is what he wants. This is what he wants. A Raging Sandstorm into 3 players as the first layer of CC. The second one comes in. That is key. That is El Momento with the Implosion. This is what Bigetron Alpha is lacking. That layer of control, that layer of initiation, that they were forcing Super Luke to play Hylock. That's not a typical Super Luke hero. This is what happens when you give him the Khalid. And this is the trend that they're supposed to continue into game number 4.
Yeah, they finally found their footing here in game number 3. And, you know, recalling back to yesterday in their match against Alter Ego, one of the keys to victory for Bigetron was to make sure that that momentum role falls on to both Key as well as Luke. So it was actually great that you mentioned it even before the drafts, because they were able to... Were they listening to? I don't know. Seems like... You know, they heard Realize, and they realized that, like, yeah, hey, Hylos isn't working out for them.
I called Wura. I told him, don't make Mirko sad. Give him 1 game. Give him 1.
Okay.
Just give him a little bit smile.
Give him a hope. A tiny bit of hope.
Tiny bit of hope, that's fine. I'll work with that. But 10 minutes. 10 minutes and 6 seconds.
One-sided.
Destruction.
It was a snowball from Bigetron Alpha.
Total annihilation, I think.
So, we gotta talk about this again, right? Team Liquid, most of their success has been on the foot of them being able to make that snowball happen. But on the back foot, it seems like they didn't really know how to adapt in the game.
Look at that, the damage to turret. It's clean.
It's very
wow.
clean.
It's untouched.
0 objectives.
Yeah, and this is also, like, it adds even more salt to the wound because, like, Fabian is in his comfort hero, he's using the Nolan. But the problem with Team Liquid ID is that they are so reliant on the early game. And I feel like Bigetron Alpha are able to crack that code because they have been so vexatious. They have been so annoying since the early game. They know that they have to outpace Team Liquid ID in the early game, and that's what they did. They kept on ganking towards Iron Chiki. They kept on trying to contest the objectives, and it worked. It worked when you can take over the early game. Team Liquid ID, they were left speechless.
Because essentially their draft couldn't really hold them over into the late game either, right? I mean, technically they had the Vexana, but a Vexana alone, I think
It's
it
not
will
enough.
struggle.
Yeah.
It will struggle, and the tempo from Bigetron Alpha is too high.
Yeah, very high.
That's why it's very hard for Vexana even like wait for a perfect momentum to use the Eternal's Guard. That's why when the Emmons comes with the Battle Mirror image, the Blazing Duet, even with the Winter Crown, it's a total disaster for Vexana.
Yeah.
Extremely, extremely. So do you think that TLID now would want to opt for red side this time?
Well, they could if they wanted to, but I don't really see where, you know, sacrificing boost would be a problem for them. I mean, they don't really have a prio pick they want to pick up, right? Maybe it's only the Alpha or the Matilda if it's open for Witty, but so far they don't really have that tunnel vision win condition that they want to achieve. So I think red side would still make sense if they don't want to really hurry to try to get their power picks. But yeah, I think red side would be a key for them.
I mean, and technically Alpha, whoever's been picking up the Alpha in this match
Has won.
has
Just
won the
winning
game.
the game.
Yeah.
Maybe
So-
Alpha is the key?
I don't know, how can you force Suyo to be left open? I don't think that's possible either, right?
No.
What's a good matchup against the Alpha?
Suyo is the best matchup,
Suyo.
actually. Yeah,
Suyo.
but I think not all of the teams may be feeling confident to facing against Suyo. That's why they always banning Suyo. They don't want to let Suyo lose.
And they know that they can't let, you know, Suyo let go to the hands of fate.
So let's let you guys go to the hands of the host now, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into game number 4. We'll see you after.
Jenny di Telkomsel.
Boleh, silakan. Untuk di booth Telkomsel sendiri, di sini kita ada yang namanya tukar poin Telkomsel. Selain tukar poin Telkomsel juga, kita ada pembelian diamond juga lewat dunia game. Terus di sini juga kita ada kartu-kartu juga. Kita ada kartu Telkomsel, ada juga Orbit juga, bisa ada juga kartu Halo. Siapa yang mau berlangganan silakan. Selain di sini juga nanti ada lelang untuk baju dari Geekfam. Bentar. Untuk baju Geekfam ini yang udah ditandatangan oleh pro player aslinya. Wow. Ada beberapa itu semuanya kalau nggak salah tuh ya. Nah ini nanti sistemnya lelang. Jadi siapa yang paling banyak itu nanti ya pemenangnya. Kebetulan tadi sudah ada 1 orang ya yang jadi pemenang, itu setiap hari dapat 1.
Setiap hari dapat 1 ya?
Ya, betul.
Dan hari ini berarti udah keluar nih?
Udah keluar 1.
Berarti kalau kalian semua para superfans mau lagi harus nunggu di hari esok nih?
Besok sambil ngumpulin untuk poinnya.
Sambil ngumpulin untuk poinnya.
Betul. Itu juga besok juga kalau yang berkesempatan boleh nanti ada duel by one dengan pro player Geekfam di sini. Jadi ada misalnya konsumen yang mau beli nanti bisa nanti untuk duel 1 lawan 1 lawan Geekfam.
Wow, menarik banget nih ya. Dan mungkin aku penasaran banget nih untuk Kak Ajun. Selain dari tadi udah dibilang ini, dari lelang ini, mungkin ada lagi nggak sih promo-promo yang cuma bisa didapetin di booth Telkomsel ini?
Oke, untuk yang di Telkomsel sendiri kita ada promo itu ada kartu Bayu Telkomsel. Itu promonya itu di 7 GB 20.000. Ya, dan itu masa aktifnya itu unlimited, itu nggak ada masa aktifnya. Jadi walaupun tidak diisi kuota, tidak diisi pulsa, itu tidak ada masa aktifnya. Seperti itu.
Oke, jadi banyak banget ya booth activity seru yang bisa kalian coba di boothnya Telkomsel khususnya di dunia games. Dan juga tadi sudah kita lihat ya bahwa per hari ada 1 aja jersey dengan tanda tangan khusus dari para pemain di tim Geekfam. Jadi pastiin kalau kalian semua mau dapat langsung aja kunjungin ya pastinya di MPL Festival di boothnya Telkomsel dan dunia games. Oke, thank you so much kakak sudah kita tanya-tanya. Jangan lupa sekali lagi untuk datang ke sini dan pastinya kita akan melihat game-game yang lebih seru nih Kak Radit. Jadi kita akan kembalikan lagi ke panelis, silakan.
Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you, Radit Overkill as well for, giving us a little bit of a feel as to what's been going on at the venue. So for those of you who haven't made it to El Dorado Bandung, please do secure tickets and come over. And if you guys don't have the ability to pick up the tickets, maybe it's sold out, you can actually join in various activities outside at the venue. And there's even a free watch party that's available that you guys can participate in as well.
It was stacked. There's a big screen out there.
Yep.
There's a lot of booths, even the food stall, drink, and everything, I think.
There's Kila
We have
food,
everything
man.
in here.
Oh, so good.
It was very sad, to be honest.
Huh?
It was a sorrowful experience for me
Oh, what happened?
going to the Fnatic Onyx booth because I went there, right?
Uh-huh.
I bought a jersey
Okay.
right before the Geek Fnatic Onyx game. So I bought the jersey. When I bought it, I used it. When I used it, Fnatic Onyx went home. So
You are the curse?
I don't know, man. Gani also bought it and Fnatic Onyx went home. So
Oh yeah, yesterday Gunny is using Fnatic on the jersey.
yeah.
Yeah, because he told me he left his other jersey in Jakarta. So he wanted to wear a jersey to watch, and then he bought a jersey, and then...
So Sonic, you know
Hey,
what to do.
I mean, it means that you guys are showing full support. You're not karbitan. What's karbitan in English?
Like a plastic fan.
A plastic fan. You're not a plastic fan.
I ain't
That's
no
good.
plastic fan. But I'm a fan of good games in Mpl-Id though, so it's still good.
And we're getting it here. Still at match point, ladies and gentlemen, TLID. Still at 2 games but Bigatron did come back with that final game, maybe even pushing it to their own match point. We might see a game number 5.
Yep.
We
And
might.
with the game number 4, we see that all of the Assassins player are losing the game. Or this is the end of the Assassin's meta.
Ooh.
That could be. Could be the case, but not really the end, but Assassin would probably be like second
Only Fanny?
priority. Like, yeah, maybe only Fanny. Fanny is like
The most priority one.
the highest prio because there's like no natural counter to a Fanny. Maybe a Kaja, a Franco, but again, it's just so hard. We don't really want to talk about Fanny because I don't think it'll even show up in Mpl-Id playoffs. And even if it does, it will just wreck around the enemy. So, yeah.
Open it up. Open the Fanny up.
Please do.
Give it to Flavor Fave. All
Flavor
right?
Fave.
We want to
That's
see
very
it.
risky.
But let's ask the audience now what they think. How can TL-ID close the match in game number 4 to win this and continue on to the upper bracket finals? The answer is 47%. Don't be out aggressive. Wait, what does that mean? Out aggressive. Out aggressive. Over aggressive? Is that?
Out and aggressive? Yeah, I think it's supposed to be over aggressive, isn't it?
Or is the acronym like aggressive is like passive game?
Inaggressive, out aggressive.
Because I think it's hard for Team Liquid ID to play a very aggressive game on the third game.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of CC that can fighting them back if they want to initiate.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, they weren't really aggressive per se.
Do they mean don't be out aggressed?
Out aggressed?
Like Bigatron were able, they were able to play more aggressive.
That's true. That might be the case as well. But
maybe.
But if we take a look at what happened in game number 3, I do think that makes sense because Bigatron Alpha, they were very aggressive. Starting from the early game, they were ganking down bottom, shutting down Aaron Shiki, not giving him the time to play. So yeah, maybe when it is the case, especially when Faven was in the Nolan, maybe they could have looked for a play, especially when you have a Matilda. It's very easy for you to play in and out as a Nolan. You can burst in, burst out. You have the guiding wind to just go back. So yeah, maybe don't get out aggressed by Bigatron Alpha.
So the mirror plays.
Mirror play.
Still need to run.
Yeah,
when they go for that.
It's almost like Suyo against Nolan. Always mention it, right?
Yeah, because this is not a brawl game where you need to like facing each other every time the opponents make the move. You still have a lot of objective. Like trying to do the mirroring or trying to steal the opponent's objective. There's a lot of things to do, but yeah, during in-game, I think the players' POV is different with us.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, the TL-ID that I've watched in the regular season was not the TL-ID I saw in that game.
And
because when TL-ID are on a back foot, they know exactly what their winning conditions are. So at that moment, they should have known that Bigatron had the better bearings on the objectives.
But by the data, I mean, if I'm not wrong, it's above 50% if they lose on the early game, they will lose the game.
Yeah.
But that's because they're able to mirror movements. They don't walk into the tempo of whoever they're playing against. They know their winning conditions, they know their strengths, and they play towards that. Here, I didn't see that at all. I saw Fabian just really falling into the pattern that Bigatron had set. So let's see if anything changes. Because all of that, it really starts with the drafts, right? So this is the drafting phase, ladies and gentlemen, for game number 3, presented by the official tournament smartphone Samsung Galaxy S24 FE. Okay, there are a lot of changes here. Still the same bans, except for the Eve ban in the first phase. The Jushin gets picked up by TL-ID. But Bigatron is given the Matilda and the Alpha. What do we think about this?
Well, you got your hands on the Zeus'in. You got that zoning potential as well, again, with the Lantern Flare, but Matilda Alpha is just way too strong on the objective takes. So, Team Liquid ID, they gotta counter this with something that can set up for the neutral takes as well.
Nolan still can work, but they need to steal the XP laner for Super Loop. So maybe Khalid Nolan right now, left Aaron Siki's heroes on the second pick phase.
Yeah. That could work. Maybe Kasha, Edith still on the cards, but they first pick Nathan in the second phase. Rather in the second pick.
Yeah.
And Cho as well.
Because Cho can go to the back line and Nathan can having his comfortable positioning if they have Cho. as the bodyguard of Nathan and Pobius. Matilda, Alpha.
Yeah, the
Very
versatility
nasty.
of the Cho was what allowed them to kind of deny the pick coming in from Key, right? We saw the implosions not landing. We saw the cover that Weedy was able to utilize, and the moments, honestly, that Weedy was also able to create. So that, yeah, they have that playmaking tool, but again, with all this on the board, I think, again, mid-prio is so important. Sure, they have the Cho and the Jushin now, but they need a good jungler as well to facilitate this, considering that Bigatron have both the Matilda and the Alpha. As we take a look at this cross-region data, please.
Yep, so throughout the MPLP-HS Season 14 playoffs, Zeusin has a 100% pick and ban rate with a total of 11 picks and a 54.55% win rate. So yeah, it shows to you how busted Zeusin is right now, because with the changes, the mini adjustment that she underwent, like, you know, you basically have a lot of mana in return when you spam the Lantern Flare. When it hits the enemies, when you can lift them off, that mana restoration still happens to you, and you have a lot of ways to approach this build. You know, you can go to Sky Piercer to get that burst damage going through. So there's a reason why Zeusin is either picked or banned.
Especially there's a lot of frontline heroes on this meta. That's why Zeusin might be a good option.
Yes.
Using the basic common emblem, the Clock of Destiny. So, Zeusin can like airboning the enemies 3 times maximum during the team fights, and it's really important, really annoying. But now no X-board for Mpl-Id, because Mobius and Alpha Nightmare is X-board.
You want to stop Mpl-Id to get their hands on the X-Borg, because X-Borg does very well against HP-based heroes, and Alpha Phobius are among them, so they ban out the X-Borg, and now Bigatron Alpha, they are looking for a mid laner, and their gold lane no longer prefers picking the Valentina like they did, Colius, and I think that opens up new horizons for them. What's left for the mid lane? Luo Yi is available, and it's going to be very good, but they go for the Lunox.
It's Lunox for Emon. It's still supposed to be.
It's still able to be flexed.
It could be Moreno too, honestly.
It could be Moreno, yeah, because...
it depends on the last 2 heroes, but I prefer to use it on Emon's side, because against Nathan it can have on-par matchup on the gold lane. And if he's using on the mid lane, I think it's lack of the mobility, but they have Matilda that can help Lunox to do the rotation.
Yeah.
You know, with the Aurora ban, is this setting up for either an assassin or something like Bane, maybe, for Fabian?
That could be the case, because now you don't really have cancellations all around the Land of Dawn when the Aurora is banned out, so maybe the Bane could come out here. And they will go for the Akai and the Bane,
there
yes!
You
called it, Eterna. They go for the Bane for the chess.
Bane. And Clint, oh, there you go. That's a Lunox in the mid lane from Moreno.
Okay.
Eterna is the apprentice of Saint Lucas.
It's my team, man. I love you, Saint Lucas. I love you, Mpl-Id. If we go down together.
Good pick up for the Clint. It's going to really batter through the front line of Team Liquid ID, and Bigatron Alpha, they have enough front line to cover up for this Clint. But against Natan, the Natan will be bullied.
That's why.
Because of the range.
It's a good lane.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so I want to task is, like, I'm cursing the teams for today. So I'm gonna choose Bigatron to win this game.
Okay, interesting. What about you?
I don't feel so good at Eterna. I do think a reverse sweep is imminent.
Okay, 2-0 from the panelists. Casters, help us out. Again, we're back at match point.
5 seconds. Panelist task for Bigatron Alpha, but they're gonna love themselves, Mpl-Id, because they brought something special here, Rashi, for game number 4 of Mpl-Id versus BTR.
Land of Dawn, here we go. I mean, if you expect Bigatron Alpha not working hard,
right.
Picture that with a Kodak, man.
Or better yet, make them prove it to us, right? Get a 2-2, take a picture of that with a Kodak. But hey, let's see, man. We'll see if they can turn their negative trend to a positive. You know, they should want us to know that. But we saw earlier, right? What could possibly be in the hands of Team Liquid ID? You need a front line to protect all these vulnerable backline members. Look at Moreno.
That's a knockup. Let's see, Moreno will fly with the guiding wind to safety.
Man, I'm worried about Pikachu Alpha right now because, first of all, it's a Natan, and we saw what Natan can do against a team that doesn't really have a lot of sieging potential, Rashi.
Exactly, and there's not a lot of seeking potential at all for Bigatron. Maybe just a Clint. But the foot is now on the other shoe though, because you can see the mid lane, very difficult when the Sushin is in the picture. Even with the Mathilda, you're gonna be forced to kind of assist your mid laner, not to do anything crazy, just to get them out of the Lantern Flare using the Guiding Wind. And when it comes to frontline, later on, maybe the Alpha and the Phobius can be a terrifying prospect, but for now, in this early game, it's gonna be the Mathilda. So Team Liquid ID have a lot more freedom of movement, and let's look at the neutral objective contest. In theory, they should have a lot more pressure.
That's Moreno, chunked alongside Aran. He needs to be careful, heavy spin is available though. Now let's see, Witty has to go back to Fabian, Quattro Retri. He will find the new.
Oh my
finds a two-man Jet Kundo and will dash away. Never mind, Super Luke is on for blood, 1-for-1. But the turtle goes to the side of TLID.
And Aaron Shiki already cleared the mid lane as well. That's also a value to further the potential of this guy in the late game.
Pursuit. Now is trying to get away, get some space. Super Luke is still on this guy, almost a solo. Way of Dragon just to cover. Now Witty will not survive. Bigatron Alpha managed to punish one.
Good back and forth here from both teams. And again, the farming game is where it's at for the jungles, man. Fabian trying to match, but he might have gone too far.
No, that's just a setup, 3v1. That's the Spear of Alpha. The Deadly Catch will not help him, and he will go down.
Something to worry about as well. Fabian doesn't really seem like a Fabian hero, and also there is no Weedy to bail him out with the Guiding Wind at this point.
It's gonna be the Cho though, so again, it's about the aggression. It's about kind of balancing it out. Now Witty is the one that has to kind of make the big moves happen, where for Fabian, it's all about playing it slow, playing it front to back. And we've seen him play flexible, but I don't know if we've seen him play this flexible at this point. But what's surprising to me is in that EXP lane, the Akai is doing surprisingly well, dude. The max HP damage built into his kit is actually giving the Phobius a run for his money.
Yeah, never underestimate the early game damage of Akai. He's gonna run you down with the basic attacks, one the passive frogs. And right now in the gold lane, Arashi, it goes as we expected. It's a Clint against a ton.
The bright side though for Team Liquid ID is that Iron Jiki can kind of make this a non-lane. Just clear the waves again and again when there is backup available and back out. Bigatron Alpha are the ones who have to try and find some way to really leverage this Clint pressure. Because the Clint, you know, a big strong side of the Clint is that laning pressure, but now it's not laning, it's the turtle take. Can Team Liquid ID find yet another beneficial great moment?
For now, Bigatron have more bodies are on, looking for that heavy spin, finds it. The backside Fabian is actually zoned out by Super Luke. Way of Dragon will not make him survive. He falls, but Fabian secures Super Luke. Oh my goodness, Amon finds the double with the Clint, looking for the triple, finds it, but he will fall. Yehezkiel with the shutdown.
Oh, it's a 4-3-5 fight. It was doomed right from the get-go for TLID. The bright side though, Aaron Shiki got a full-on gold plating in the bottom lane.
But a 4-on-1 Clint, that is a dangerous hero in the hands of Eman. Again, Bet is going to try and leverage that somehow. You're seeing Team Liquid ID still losing out in the pressure just because of all these fighters, but that won't last for long, right? The tankier Witty and Aran get, the more damage Aaron, Yehezkiel, and Fabian get, the less they can kind of do this brute force forward maneuvers with Bigatron Alpha.
Let's see, Fabian. Whoa. 3v1 connection. Oh! The catch actually bought him time, and he will survive. Super Luke on the other side will not survive. TLID responding.
Good response there with the deadly catch. Making Moreno second guess. Should I go in? Should I not?
Look at that though. Aran just, you know, shows out for a little bit, pressuring Bigatron to allow Fabian to stick around and actually clear that wave. It's moments like that that really doesn't get overshadowed by the big fights. But yes, Deadly Catch to cancel out the Guiding Wind. The tower taken on the bottom side. Team Liquid is just looking like their characteristic, somehow, comeback nature in the mid lane. In the mid game, sorry.
Team Alpha also has a pretty characteristic as well in this Mathilda, man. If I remember correctly, I believe that right now he has a 100% on a Mathilda throughout the regular season. Let's see if the cavalry can actually break that in the playoffs.
Tall order for sure, but look at this. Ooh, Conceal already used up. Moving into the jungle, both teams. Oh!
Kundo with the way of Dragon. He is isolated. Man, Bigger John Alpha, they need to find the trade.
That was the most procedural pickoff I've ever seen. Look at that. Even Aran knows that someone is there, and actually, oh, Moreno.
Let's say Moreno finds the Order of Brilliance to get space, but that is just the neutral objective.
Aman?
Being the main agenda, Aman finds the pressure. But let's see here, Bigger John Alpha still catching strays after minute 4.
Good trades here for both teams, but Witty, man, he heard us talking and is like, oh, you thought I couldn't do Flashy? I'll show you Flashy. He immediately goes for those pickoffs, but he needs to step up and make the engages happen because Aran and Fabian, they can't really do that, right? They are just all locked in to playing it defensive. But Fabian, no, this is a dangerous move.
Ooh, almost a deja vu there if he got spotted out. But Vivian, he's looking quite beefy with the HP bar, man. So I think right now, he's much more tankier, he's much more safer at this point.
Look at the Heskill though, no Purify just walks up. Is it a trap? Aran spots the rest of the team. Team Liquid, once again, they're doing a great job mitigating Bigtron Alpha's engage potential. In theory, Bigtron are the ones who have the chase, who have the early game burst here with the Clint, with the Alpha, but they're really not getting a lot of value from those picks just yet.
As they move on to the top lane to equalize the turrets. Really, he's already scouted the situation meanwhile around. Aran distracting, providing an info, but Yeskiel in the mid lane is actually vulnerable. Good knockup as Aaron Cheeky collects the inner. Fabian with the conceal of Witty, looking to find one member, but Aran is still too tanky. Super loop, escape! Oh my goodness! Finds a 3-man heavy spin! And that's the collapse that Mpl-Id needed. 2 members taken down.
Prince Aran caught the biggest Alpha members caught off guard there. 3-man pinned down in the mid lane. A place that you never see a Kai use usually.
Usually you see the Fabian pop off. We saw Aaron pop off. When they're both pressured, Aran steps up to the plate. The playmaker himself, again and again. He has been overshadowed in this match, but right there he shows why he is one of the best, why he is nominated for one of the best EXP laners in Indonesia. With the Lord coming up soon, after a play just like that, Bigtron Alpha, they have to be so concerned, so wary of a potential engage again.
That's the foundation for that mid-game now with the Way of Dragon spent already. Witty will fall. Retribution goes to Fabian. Calmly done. Yeskiel now isolated the top side. Will Bigatron punish? It seems like Yeskiel will fall. And that's Mpl-Id. Finds the heavy spin onto a super loop, but he survives. 2-4-0, but the Lord goes to the hands of the Cavalries.
Good play by Bigatron there to get something at least, not making it a overall win. Even the mid tower actually able to be saved. That damage from the Bane though is ramping up. Aaron! Oof. Fabian secures that purple buff in the midst of that chaos, and they are all gonna be up for the next base defense. But watch that Wishing Lantern. More percentage max HP damage for Moreno. This means that Aran and Fabian and Witty technically are a lot more vulnerable. So with Eman scaling to the late game as well, Team Liquid has to be a bit careful.
They're on the offense now. Mid-turret falls. Bigatron Alpha.
Oh!
Positioning. That's the crab claw cannon right there, baby. Bigatron Alpha. Again, they're looking to find a better positioning, better formation, but it seems like they can't.
Super annoying, man. And the range on this spin is just insanity right now. They might pull the trigger here.
Let's see. Witty will look for the initiation play that they catch to chunk the base turret, but it seems like the First Lord will not do his job. Base turret still stands.
Step by step, brick by brick, Fabian through is taking all the mid turrets away.
Ooh,
look at that. That's too key, by the way, the roamer.
Oh man,
What the shield too?
these bounces, man. Bigatron Alpha has to be a bit careful about this. Man, Team Liquid, it's only the First Lord, so not taking a base turret at this point is kind of understandable. But look at the damage dealt, it's actually quite equal. Eman, the issue right here is if he can actually, do more damage than Aaron Shiki, then there's no way for Team Liquid to get to him either. But they don't have to do that, right? With the Natan, this is why the Natan pick is just so valuable. And just playing it the slow game.
I mean, at this point, oh, they want to pull the trigger to get an Alpha. But no, they're going to back up with the guiding wind. And to be honest, you know, like they can force out as long as the minion goes into the, you know, the vicinity, the aggro of the tower, they can force out a turret with a heavy spin from Iran. There might be something that Big Alpha is, you know, should be wary of at this point.
Might be a bit too risky for Team Liquid-ID's likes though. But look at that info gathering, man. The Lantern Flare quite literally illuminating the rest of the jungle. But Yeskiel, again, no Purify. Playing a hero that's kind of squishy, punishable by all means. Has to be a bit careful. Looking at the rest of the items though, that's a quad armor for Witty. So if Bigatron are relying on a massive spike in damage, you know, a big quick draw coming in from Eman, that damage now is going to be mitigated. So Witty is going to be a bit more slippery. And with 3 seconds to go, the wave is set to the top side. Man, Team Liquid-ID has damage to rush this down.
I was saying, Bigatron Alpha, can they find and penetrate the formation of TL-ID in this lore taker run? And Yeskiel being in the front lines, Witty in the angles.
Oh, wait, what?
Lore taken by Fabian, but be careful, Ron, very low. Bigatron Alpha, they move onwards with Super Loop, charging, finding the kill. Now Super Loop looking for more. Witty is trying to get away. Yeskiel in an awkward angle and Crimson Beacon. Wow! Dragon, but Moreno secures one. Oh my goodness! Moreno DD finds two, but Fabian finds the trade.
All in all, that might be a winning trade for Big Alpha. They have only 2 members right now, TL-ID. Can they even make use of this Lord? They have the stage though, with the Natan and the Bane.
Unfortunately for Bigatron Alpha, the Lord is delayed by a wave right there. It's going to buy time for Team Liquid-ID to be on the map. They won't be able to clear it without contest. They've got the advantage there, but man, Team Liquid-ID were taking that fight spread apart, not together. In the next fight with the Lord, this is going to be a 5v5 front to back, just the way Team Liquid-ID wants it.
Everyone is catching up. Yeskiel and Witty is already charging towards the bottom lane, looking to further enhance the sieging potential of TL-ID. The cavalry is trying to run through the robots.
Let's see, they catch early again to chip the turret. Bigatron Alpha will not be able to defend the base turret in the bottom side, but they will clear the top side lane. Lord taken care of, but it's just still TL-ID controlling most of this game, most of the game.
Yeah, the good thing though, Rashi, look at the Lord's position.
Top lane. Yeah, the other side of the map from where the base turret was taken for Team Liquid-ID. Moreno though, showing again that the late game, even though, I mean, the Clint scales well to the late game too, by the way. Just a bit more burst heavy. But with the Lunox as well, if they can't really deal with the dive potential, they can't really get Aaron Shiki and Fabian away from that damage. You're seeing it being quite dangerous, quite literally. But with 60 seconds on the clock here, Team Liquid-ID plays the patient game. They set up a net here just to spot out the members of Bigatron if they do make a, you know, surprising, pesky maneuver. But aside from that, they're not even showing on the map. They're kind of pressuring Bigatron to stay in their base by not showing, by just standing there. And that was a sticker by Fabian.
Oh, interesting. I forgot we have stickers. But right now in Mpl Indonesia, friendly day 2. Right now, 4K gold lead, even though in the kill department, 9-11, only 2 kills is the differential of both teams. And PTR actually leading on that. So it's quite interesting to see that TL-ID is up by this much. The economy is favoring them by a lot.
Looking at the farming game here in the player head-to-head, Fabian definitely doing a lot better. And this is the late game where the Bane damage really can't be ignored. On the side of Team Liquid-ID, they're also going full glass cannon because Aaron Shiki isn't going for any kind of defensive items. Just the Blood Wings for an extra bit of damage along with the survivability. And now it's the neutral objective game where Team Liquid-ID has an abundance of an advantage.
Seems like Bigatron Alpha, they're trying to contest this lore, but Ron says no with the heavy spin. Bigatron Alpha, let's see, will they find round 2 again? Fabian now being the target. Oh, isolated with a crown, just a bait. Is it enough though? Moreno jumps in with the Order of the Brilliance. But now Witty isolates Amon. He goes down. But TL-ID TLID, they answer back. Now with their mortality bomb, Aaron Shiki is in trouble, and he will fall. Super Ken shuts him down.
Look at the base.
It's not over just yet. The base though. Fabian recalling.
Seems like TLID, they want more.
my lord.
The minions almost being the game changer, but that's the deadly catch. Let's see, because Alpha for now still stands, still trying desperately to hold their ground as the base are in the mid lane is looking juicy, but TLID health-wise, they're very low. Fabian being such a constant nuisance, but seems like Bigatron Alpha, they will defend.
Unfortunately, there's no long-range melee dealer there. Aaron Shiki was still alive. It'll be a completely different story for TLID right now. My goodness, we have ourselves a game at the 70th minute mark.
Aaron Shiki, man, too aggressive for his own good. Going for the play there, seeing the flow of the fight favor Team Liquid ID, but Bigatron and Alpha find moments of their own. If those waves, though, on the bottom side was slightly more in favor of Team Liquid, that could have been the end of the game. Team Liquid ID were able to delay for so long. Now it's back to the default. And again, I think it really favors Team Liquid here. Because they are the ones with the front to back with all the late game, and they have more solutions to play the textbook style. Bigatron Alpha are the ones who have to do something unpredictable, right? Catch someone off guard, maybe with a huge amount of burst damage coming in from Eman, from Marino, or maybe Key can bring Super Ken to the back. They are the ones who have to try and be creative right here. Team Liquid have to curb the enthusiasm, quite literally.
Yeah, Super Ken right now being the frontliner. Interesting to see that the jungler itself is the one that's caught out the situation, but Eman is actually on the farthest one there, knowing that there is still Key there.
Aran as well, by the way. Two components here, Dreadnought Armor and the Steel Leg Plates, not really combining, I believe, into a single item. So he was kind of going for components just to get the extra benefit, right? For the Dreadnought Armor, the lack of the reduction in damage coming in from abilities. That works for Eman as well, by the way, because the Clint isn't really a base attack base type of marksman. So you're seeing creative itemizations coming in from both parties. But once more, for Bigatron, they have to look for one single moment. And Team Liquid ID, with a Cho, with an Akai, there's so many more ways for them to recover from a bad situation. 10 seconds till the next Lord, and the waves technically can be set up by Bigatron.
Calm before the storm. The storm is coming for Bigatron Alpha and also TLID. How do they weather it?
Heavy spin early. Will this be effective? That with a crown pops as well. Moreno very low, but that's a Spear of Alpha. That might change the game. Bigatron Alpha finds one, but Tuberlu will fall. That's no retribution. I repeat, Eman finds the double. No retribution, Bigatron Alpha. They can, and they will fight back.
They still want to go? No, yes, kill. You don't want to pull the trigger just now. This is the question for Nakai EXP composition. Once the heavy spin is gone, your window is literally closed.
And they use both of their tools to go aggressively there. Nothing's left to try and go defensive. Look at Marino though.
And he has the flicker. Yes, kill bombs, and Moreno is hitting. Moreno, you dirty boy. And that's Witty taken down. Bigatron Alpha wipes TLID to the grave.
We said that the objective control will be immaculate for TLID. But what just happened? Bigatron Alpha turned the script. And they might be going the whole way. 30 seconds for all the three members of TLID.
2v5, the main wave tier tool not available. Fabian has some damage, has a lot of utility with the heavy spin. Can they do it? 2v5.
This might be it. Ladies and gentlemen, deadly catch. That's the last stand. Aran and Winter Clown to buy time. Bigatron stands with 5. Aran taken down. Fabian defends alone. 5 seconds for Yeskiel. Bigatron, can they close this game out as Eman is there? The minions not cleared. Wait a minute, gentlemen. We go to game 5.
Wow! After all that happened in the first 2 games, what just happened? Bigatron Alpha is back looking like an actual team again. They called the biggest choke, but right now TLID, it's in the midst. It's on their way to do it.
They're clutch.
Team Liquid ID, with a textbook front to back, went for risks in that game. And it's a high risk, high reward play. If it worked out, that would have been the end for Bigatron Alpha. But with the experience that they have, with the composure, are we seeing here the difference in experience between Bigatron and Team Liquid ID? With that comeback, man.
Man, oh man. Best of 5, closed out in actual 5 games. This is what the fans are trying to see. The Mlbb esports enthusiasts is trying to see. The climax of the series. Who will go to top 3 in Mpl Indonesia Season 14 playoffs? Is it the Cavalry or Bigatron Alpha?
One more game and we will find out. Is it the Cavalries or is it the Red Robots?
Oh boy. You have to wonder again if there's a difference in mentality here, with everyone so confidently predicting that Team Liquid ID will have this game. Man, we've seen them perform as underdogs before, but when you're the favorites, there's a different pressure that you have to face. And this was at play. It was looking so good. But again, when you have good burst damage, you can go for moments like this where you can make a single flicker play, secure a kill, and the longer the game goes, it's just dangerous. And Moreno, man, the game sense on this guy. The engage here from the rest of the team as well. Team Liquid ID, they could have played it safe, but perhaps their dominance, their mechanical team fighting prowess has come to haunt them in the back, going for that fight 3v5.
An intelligent draft as well. That Lunox, even I question it. Why did they pick Lunox? It was such a risky pick. But when you can dive with a flicker, with a brilliance, Ruby, Tiri style, who's gonna stop you? It's a Shushin. And also an Natan. This might be the question or the answer to this Natan problem that we have in Mpl Indonesia Season 14 playoffs so far. But let's see though what our panelists has to say for this game and for this series. Eterna, take it away.
Welcome to playoffs, Eterna. Welcome to playoffs.
He is not a curse.
My team has lower brackets.
That's true. My bad.
Oh. So
My
you're
team-
guessing that
my team has-
gonna lose on the game number 5?
My team has 4 MPLs.
And yet you still couldn't make it to top 4.
My team went to M5.
And yet you still couldn't make it to top 4.
That's true. I raised my case.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Both teams are now at match point. Bigatron Alpha, impeccable gameplay in game number 4 to force a full best of 5 series. You know what? It's okay. I like this. It's competitive. This is what we wanted from last season. And we're seeing that both of these teams can actually go head to head and they're on par.
They are on par. I mean, from the look at the draft, actually, Bigatron Alpha's draft looked very solid because they had setters to really just fight through the objectives. They had good initiation, good lockdown as well. But from Team Liquid ID, they also had the same. They had the conditions where they want to fight with the pin down from the Akai, from Aran, who, by the way, landed solid heavy spins, and then you had that late game potential in the hands of the Bane and the Natan, but it just did not work out. Why? Because Bigatron had a man. Clint is a front line killer.
And don't forget the X factor that Eterna mentioned before we go to the panelist section. It's their first time to playing on BO5.
Yes.
Right? So the pressure is on.
Pressure is on.
If they play on the BO3, they already won.
2-0 already. So let's crown our MVP, ladies and gentlemen. Presented to you by our official tournament smartphone, Samsung Galaxy S24 FE, and it is Moreno. Now, in the drafting phase, when we saw the Lunox being picked up, even you mentioned that, you know, Lunox in the mid lane, it's so risky. It doesn't work out well. We heard Sheffin mention it as well, but he made it work. Let's talk about how and why.
I think how Moreno's play with Lunox, using the flicker, using the brilliance of order and the chaos. It's really bring the chaos to TLID.
Yeah.
Because he always A-bore Eman.
Yeah, I mean, the way he plays it is that his targeting is so good. The only reason why this Lunox is picked in the very first place is to become the sole diver towards the Natan, towards Aaron Chiki. Aaron Chiki did not have a very good time. He can dive with the Chaos Order, with the Brilliance Order, he can go out as well. And plus, there will be Key, who will fetch him with the Guiding Wind. We talked about this, we argued a little bit with Corleus, is the fact that, yes, they had Matilda, but the Matilda is also required by other heroes that also needs the guiding wind. But the problem with the case for Moreno is that he has that time where he can burst down Natan, and we can burst down the Iron Chiki, and then he comes out with the guiding wind. So all in all, it's a complete package. Bigetron Alpha, they can burst down the players, they can fight front to back, but they can also dive into the backline. There's Super Luke with the Phobias, there is Lunox in the hands of Moreno, and then Clint will be the main leading player to play that front to back composition, because Clint isn't DPS per se, he's much more of a burst marksman, but he bursts down the tanks of Team Liquid ID.
Like, look at that damage.
Yeah.
What in the world? And essentially, every time they went into these team fights, nobody was able to actually catch Aman in the back line. But it's curious, right? Because technically, Tlid had Aran on the Akai, and they also had Weedy on the Cho.
But when Akai using the heavy spin, I think Winter Crown always save the day, especially if Super Can.
Yeah.
That's why it's gonna be hard if they pin the Super Can down, and like if they try to aim for the Super Can is using Winter Crown.
We talked about this actually. The later the game goes, the more hard it is for you to land the heavy spin. It's almost like the same case of 1-1 with the crossbow of tank. When it's popped, you have that time frame where you can pop back your Winter Crown, which makes you invulnerable against that heavy spin, which means that you have that time frame for you to dodge the CC. So then Bigetron Alpha, they can pounce back after the heavy spin, because there isn't really an AoE heavy tool you can utilize in the hands of Team Liquid ID aside from the heavy spin. Maybe yes, you know, really can pop the Jeet Kune Do and then the dragon, the way of the dragon, but it isn't as heavy locking as the heavy spin.
Yeah, with Winter Crown also, with Lunox, right? So it's gonna be hard to aim for Lunox, especially if he wants to dive in using the Brilliance of Order, using the Chaos, and if like the others try to aim for Lunox, he can just do the Winter Crown.
Yeah, and Lunox also has that innate survivability with the Brilliance of Order.
Immune.
Yeah,
Anything.
immune to anything, to damage, to CC. He is basically, or rather she is basically just able to dodge away from all the atrocities that Bigetron Alpha wants to bring.
What a
But-
game.
Yeah, I think
What
it's
a
a 50-50
game.
game. So it's really interesting to see what kind of gameplay that they gotta play on the last game.
It gets more interesting because this is where Team Liquid ID will be battle tested. This is not a scenario where they're used to. Sure, they are used to BO3s, they are used to winning 2-0, 2-1, or losing 0-2 and 1-2. But when it comes to the best of 5, especially when you are the one leading the game with a 2-0 lead, and then it becomes a 2-2, we go back to square one.
Ooh.
And this will be a very, very expensive
The pressure is hard.
experience for them if they do advance to M6, because these are young bloods who don't really have the chance to play in these types of games.
That's
I
why
agree.
a lot of people is doubting the young blood mentality. Now it's a time to prove it.
Yeah, this is their time to prove their young blood mentality.
And like essentially, even though we're going back to square one, now down to a best of one, it's Bigetron Alpha that hold the momentum. So not necessarily 50-50 here for Tlid, honestly, because they're gonna have to come back from 2 losses in a row. And we saw the look on Weedy's face, and then you could hear him say, Aman, like,
Aman.
it's all good, it's all good. But yeah, it boils down to that. Who's gonna be able to pick up the morale is
That's
going to be
true.
very important too.
And this is also proving grounds for Bigetron Alpha. They are known as the team who chokes in the playoffs. But now they are the ones on the verge of pulling a reverse sweep, our first ever in Mpl-Id Season 14 playoffs. So that kind of adds the momentum into their favor as well, because now they know they can prove everyone wrong, that they're not choking anymore. They have the capabilities to pull that reverse sweep.
Yeah, that's why I think TLID needs to bring back their DNA. It's like, don't let the opponents get the map control on the early game. That's really important, because Vavian gameplay using Bane, it's not Vavian, because Bane on the early game is not that strong.
Yeah.
It's not that high mobility to like do the rotation or do some pick off to the side lane.
Yeah, that's exactly why they picked up the Natan, because I think their aim here was also to play towards the late game. Bane is disgustingly good as well in the late game. The damage, the crits is just immense, and the Natan just doing light work, like how Aranshiki played in game number 2. But Bigetron Alpha, they knew that they also had the winning condition in the late game because they had the Clint up and running, and Man was free hitting the backline so swimmingly.
So essentially, despite the statistics that we saw from Jushin being 100% pick and ban rate, the win rate of the Jushin has fallen now.
Yeah.
But what hasn't is the alpha in this series. Do you think that is one of the key factors for both these teams to be able to secure that early game that we keep underlining as extremely important to that snowball?
And the team who have the second pick is always got the alpha, right?
It depends though, because essentially, if TLID were the losers, right? So they can choose to still stay on first pick, but maybe not the Jushin first pick.
Okay, because on the game number 4, I think they prioritize Matilda against Alpha.
Yes.
Their first pick is Matilda.
In game 4. That was game 3.
Game 3, I mean.
Game 3,
yeah.
they went Matilda.
That's why maybe they need to think like, are they gonna pick Alpha as the prior?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think Alpha's value is just way too strong. Like one of the most viable fighter heroes in the jungle in this current patch, and the fact that it has a lot of setup, a lot of lockdown, and it's just so good. Level 3, level 4. This is where the power spike happens, and this is what is more crucial towards Team Liquid ID. They play for the early game, which Alpha really accommodates. You know, you have that early game strength in Alpha, and Team Liquid ID might need that.
How about they still go for whatever they did, but we realized, right? Every time the Alpha gets picked up, we see an export ban in the second phase. What happens if they prioritize the export maybe in the first phase? Do you think the export stands a chance against the Alpha?
I think the export is much more conditional. I don't think it's a good answer directly to the Alpha. You don't want to first pick it in the first phase.
But for the others?
Yeah, but there's still other choices that you can go. But again, the export is conditional when you are up against HP percentage heroes like the Hylos, like the Phobias. That's why Bigatron Alpha banned in the second phase, because they knew that the export could have posed a huge threat. So I don't think it's a grab and go pick. You know, you gotta be conditional with it.
Okay. So Bigatron solid execution with Matilda on a key. That's one of his signature heroes. Forces TLID to game number 5. So if we were to talk about how TLID would improve, what are the factors here?
Well, not being run down in the first few minutes.
But how is the question, right?
I think it start from the drop first.
Yeah,
because
drop.
drop is really important to determine the early game. Like for example, if he wants to use the assassin, what about the synergy of the roamer and the mid laner? Because if you have a good roamer and mid laner who can clear the mid lane very fast, the minion, you can move or do the rotation to the side lane or even go to the enemy's jungler. Yeah, the theory is easy.
Execution is hard.
The execution is hard.
I mean, did you think that in that last game that Bigatron had the better mid prio?
I think they did. Yeah, because they had Matilda as well, right?
So Matilda Alpha.
Matilda Alpha Phobius. And also,
mid prio would be Lunox, right?
Yeah, Lunox as well. With Lunox around it, I mean, Lunox had that burst power as well in the mid game. So that is what made Team Liquid ID struggle. And Team Liquid ID know they had to play for the early game, which means why do you keep on forcing drafts that kind of needs that late game?
All right, so before we get into our final game in this best of 5 series, we're gonna go on a short break, but we'll throw you over to our host to see what are they doing over there.
Bahwa permainan semakin ketat, tapi tentunya support system juga semakin tegang nih di tengah-tengah kita. Tentunya ada support system dari tim Liquid ID, keluarga dari Coach Sendel Lucas. Kasih tepuk tangannya dong. Ini ada papa, ada mama, ada ayah, ada istri dan juga ada buah hati. Kalau Sendel Lucas melahirkan rookie-rookie ajaib, yang melahirkan Sendel Lucas ini. Om, tante, papa, mama, apa kabar nih? Baik ya, tapi gimana? Kita akhirnya playoff di Bandung yang notabene adalah rumah dari Sendel Lucas. Gimana ngelihat playoffnya di sini di Bandung, seneng nggak?
Senang banget, rame banget.
Rame, biasanya ke Jakarta ya Om, tante
Iya,
yang
ke
pergi.
Jakarta. Ini
Deket,
Iya.
selalu mendukung. Hari ini ngelihat mungkin bermain untuk pembukaan match ini, ada harapan nggak sih dari papa mama?
Ya, puji Tuhan, mudah-mudahan dikasih sukses Sendel Lucas tetap berdoa, mudah-mudahan Tuhan menolong. 1 game lagi, tapi deg-degan juga.
Bener, kita semuanya sih deg-degan. Ini kalau Papa terakhir Saint Lucas pulang Bandung kapan nih? Selalu Om Tante ya yang pergi ya?
Iya, kami yang pergi ke Jakarta.
Nggak pernah pulang, akhirnya pulang nih ya?
Ya, akhirnya pulang.
Akhirnya pulang. Terima kasih MPL. Tapi di sini juga namanya siapa nih buah hatinya? Lukas. Sesuai nama ya?
Papahnya.
Papahnya yang kasih nama. Boleh nggak sih mungkin dari istri tercinta bisa memberitahu, kita tuh penasaran banget bagaimana sih kerja keras, dedikasi dari Saint Lucas untuk timnya bahkan bisa masuk sampai playoff di upper bracket ini.
Ya dia sangat profesional. Saya pun sebagai istri memaklumi kesibukannya, pulang seminggu sekali. Jadi ketemu anak juga seminggu sekali, tapi sekalinya di rumah dia benar-benar ngasih waktunya buat keluarga ketika kerja 100% untuk kerjaan.
Seminggu sekali saja. Terus Dedek Lukas umur berapa? 5 bulan? 5. Nanti mau jadi coach juga, udah pakai headset nih kayaknya. Iya. Tapi ada yang pengen disampaikan gak sih tentunya untuk mungkin Saint Lucas dan juga tim Liquid?
Untuk tim Liquid semangat, semoga bisa lolos ke MC. Nanti ikut dong ke Malaysia. Keluarga ikutnya nih? Puji Tuhan. Kalau lolos ikut.
Ikut semua, papa mama juga ya? Ikut semua, rame banget. Lukas, semangatin papanya ya. Dan semangat sudah ada di sini. Tentu saja The Cavalry kasih semangat dong untuk tim Liquid. Dan semangat sudah membanjiri Eldorado Dome Bandung untuk tim Liquid. Tapi bagaimana halnya dengan Bigetron dan Bigetroopers di sana? So Alisa, what's going on there?
Thank you Bude, Bigetroopers kita mau dengar suaranya. Oke, kalau tadi kita sudah mendengarkan wawancara dengan tim Saint Lucas dari tim Liquid Indonesia, sekarang saya sudah bersama dengan keluarga dari Super Ken. Halo Tante Om dan juga Cici dari Ken.
Halo.
Oke, Tante Om dan juga Cici, kalau misalkan Super Ken ada Ken dan sini ada Cici Barbie. Mungkin aku mau tanya-tanya sedikit sama Cici. Gimana nih perasaannya ngelihat adik tersayang tadi bertanding di match kali ini?
Tadi sempat deg-degan banget sih soalnya udah sempat 2-0 ya. Tapi kayak keren banget apalagi di match keempatnya itu bisa comeback.
Oke, menurut Cici bisa nggak di game terakhir ini akhirnya 3-2 nih?
Bisa. Harus pede pasti bisa.
Harus optimis ya. Oke, kita juga pengen tanya nih sama Om ya. Om dan Tante juga pastinya selalu setia mendukung Super Ken dan selalu hadir setiap Super Ken dan pastinya Bigetron Alpha ketika sedang bertanding. Gimana perasaannya Om Tante? Boleh dari Tante dulu silakan.
Ya senang sih kita bisa support terus.
Selalu support ya dan selalu hadir untuk Ken. Kalau Om sendiri gimana nih Om?
Ya kalau kita hadir selalu supaya memberi semangat kepada Super Ken dan tim supaya mainnya tambah lebih semangat.
Betul sekali dan gimana perasaannya bangga banget gak sih ngelihat Super Ken sendiri selalu memberikan yang terbaik?
Bangga.
Dan Tante Om sendiri dan juga Cici pastinya bakal hadir nggak di Malaysia kalau misalkan Bigetron Alpha berhasil masuk ke M6 World Championship?
Pasti hadir.
Pasti hadir ya? Oke, nanti kita tunggu pastinya hasil dari match kita kali ini dan kita berharap yang terbaik pastinya untuk Bigetron Alpha dan juga pastinya untuk Bigetroopers yang sedang menonton. Dan tanpa berlama-lama lagi langsung aja kita lempar kembali ke panelis dan caster, silakan. Semangat!
It's so great to see that even the players, the coaches, they have their support system in the building as we're here in El Dorado, Bandung. We saw Saint DeLucas. We saw Saint DeLucas's family, his kid, 5 months, with his wife as well, and I'm pretty sure his parents as well.
Yeah, his parents.
And we also saw Super Ken's family in the building, showing their support. Full best of 5, they need it right now. Back to a best of 1 for both of these teams. Wow.
But yeah, I love the headlines like Game 5 isn't a battle of assassins or fighters, it's a mental warfare.
There you go. Mental warfare. This is where Team Liquid ID needs to prove themselves. This is what is going to separate them from the other teams. Because, yeah, sure, they're young bloods, they are hungry to win, but are they able to withstand 5 grueling games? The first 2 games were a walk in the park. It was more of a field trip towards Bigatron Alpha's draft, but now the last
They're walking on the
games,
lava.
Yeah, now they are walking on the lava, so this is where they are going to be tested. Their mental and everything, like their endurance as well.
Yeah, endurance. I think that's the key here, endurance. So let's ask the audience right now, how can Mlbb avoid a reverse sweep? They're now 2-2, both teams are at match point. Bigatron are a game away of winning this entire thing. And stepping forward into the upper bracket finals, and it looks like 54% of you agree that they need to stay disciplined in the late game. Let's throw it over to you first. Kolios, do we agree with this statement?
I go with the audience because on the last game, I think because they are trying to like rushing the team fights.
Yeah.
So Moreno and M1 got the free position. They lose the team fight and they lose the game. That's why, because before that team fight, the position is like 50-50 for both of the teams.
Yeah, it was pretty rushed because they knew that they had to get their hands on the Clint and they had to shut it down, but the Clint was just free hitting for most of the times, and Eman was just a tank killer. He was shredding it through Team Liquid ID's front line, so that was the question in hand on how they were able to catch their hands on the Clint. I mean, sure, the heavy spin was there, but not as effective when it comes to the late game because of so much tools that Bigatron Alpha had in their disposal.
But I think both of us can agree on something, right?
What is that?
On the XP lane, it needs to be an enabler hero.
That's true. I mean, look at what Super Luke can do when he has his hands on the Phobius, when he has his hands on the lead in game number 3 previously. Don't give him a statue. I mean, Hylos is a statue hero, sure. Only like area you have is the Glorious Pathway, and that's it. You don't really have a Heartlock CC that enables your teammates to pounce on the enemies.
And we didn't see Edith because I think Edith is a best or perfect heroes to be used, and it's flex. You can use it as a roamer, you can use it as XP laner, and all of the crowd control. Don't forget about the Primal Rat.
Yeah,
it have damage on it.
I agree.
Until the late game, it's very painful.
There's versatility to the Edith kit, and it's a wonder why we haven't seen the Edith surface just yet. So maybe now we could see it here in our last game of this best of 5 series, and now Mlbb are actually on red side. So they've actually opted to swap sides with Bigatron here as we enter the drafting phase for game number 5, presented to you by our official tournament smartphone, Samsung Galaxy S24 FE. We saw a cheese pick in the Hilda in the first game. I'm wondering whether or not the strategy ends there.
They banned the Alpha.
Now no Alpha. After 4 games with Alpha.
Wait, if Team Liquid bans Suyo, we might see an Assassin showdown.
Let's go, I'm here for it.
But the question is, do they want to concede Suyo to the hands of Bigatron Alpha? The thing is, like, they need fighters, right? They need fighters that can really enable the objective takes. But we will see. If they're gonna ban the Suyo, I really hope they give it to us in a silver platter. They give us that assassin matchup.
I don't think they're gonna let it go. Mlbb, no way, right?
Yeah, no way to let it go, to be honest.
Okay. So, they answer my thought on the game number 5, the Battle of Assassin.
Suyo ban.
It's gonna be Hayabusa versus Nolan, Hayabusa versus Ling.
But Bigatron pick up the Matilda
or
first.
Julian?
That's the problem. Julian, yeah, I forgot about this pick. Julian is actually a good...
Julian can work with Matilda?
Yeah, Julian Matilda is actually a very good pick. A good alternative after the Alpha Matilda. Because it also has that dive, it has that poke. The way you play it is much more of a DPS type of way. With the sword that can really poke away the enemies. You can go in and go out. But they pick up the Phobius and Angela.
Mlbb set up the trap. They pick Angela, so do you want to pick the Ling?
Ah.
If not, I'm gonna use the Ling. And Ling with Matilda is not a bad synergy.
Yeah, that's not the best synergy because you want to be going in, going out, and you want to jump into the backline. And Matilda really needs to be actively on the hunt. Oh, they go for the X-Borg. I don't think there's going to be an Assassin Showdown because this X-Borg most likely will go into that mid lane, into that jungle, I think.
They
But
want a
still.
prolonged team fight using the Faramis and X-Borg. A good AoE through damage also with the last Insanity. And here we go.
Angeling.
Ling.
The famous Angeling combo from Fabian.
Yeah, I think Bigatron's gonna ban Nathan because Nathan is the kryptonite of X-Borg.
Here's the thing, right? But Fabian, this means that he's very confident because he's picking this Ling into a Faramis. And the other thing that we forgot to, mention is that the Faramis negates the kill pressure that a Ling can have. So that is going to be another layer that they need to work with.
But I think this time around they have the Angela to really back up the Ling. At least the hard guard could really give them, give Fabian that extra cover to just burst through the Faramis. But yeah, we will have to see how they will deal with the Faramis. As we take a look at top 5 Lords lane, number 1 is Demon Kite. Number 2, Kyle TZ. Fabian sits on top, above Kyrie and
Kyrie.
Super Ken, with 46 Lords slain this season.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
There's no King Kong. There's no King Kong.
Where's King Kong?
Yeah, they met each other on the MPLPH Grand Final.
That's crazy.
But oh, Harriet.
I like this band coming in from Bigatron Alpha, the Valentina. They understand that the Faramis is utilized
And
by them.
X-Borg.
And they know that Tlid, this Angela, still can be flexed. There was a possibility that the Valentina could be picked up themselves, and then they can kind of level out the playing field in these particular team fights. And now the Natan gets banned out as well.
I'm thinking of picking up the... Wait, okay, Angela has to go mid, right? Because of the Faramis. I thought about the Luo Yi, to be honest, or the Aurora, because Faramis entails you to clump up together to get the Netherrealm going on. They will go for the Ruby. I still do think this Angela will go mid, so yeah.
I think it's gotta be Iron Siki Ruby.
This is like a triple flex, quadruple flex.
Yeah. Wow.
Ruby Gold, Ruby EXP, Ruby
Ruby
Roam, Phoveus, XP maybe, Angela Roam, Angela mid.
Yeah. Still very much flexibility in the hands of Team Liquid ID. Even the X-Borg can still be flexed with the XP, but I don't think it matches the Phoveus' strength. So the X-Borg will most likely go in the hands of Super Ken. Actually a very strong first pick because it also negates HP percentage. If Team Liquid ID do want to pick up scaling health. That guy on the Baroni.
It's too many utility.
I don't like this.
Alpha.
I don't like this.
I think it's gonna be hard for Link if he wants to pick up the gold lane, even the mid lane right now, because the mid lane is Varamis. It's usually accompanied by Matilda, but for the last pick.
And Brody can't go Purify, right?
Brody can't. He has to go for the Flicker, and a lot of catch as well, a lot of dive towards the Brody, the Ruby, the Ling, the Phoveus. This is why they had to pick the Faramis to deny that Ling, but the Ling still is there. So now Team Liquid ID, what will they pick for their gold laner? Or maybe for their roam?
Exactly.
Because still flexible. As they
could pick up a mid laner too.
They could. And
they lack of magic damage right now.
Luoyi?
Aurora. I already said, yeah.
Yeah. We call it. Because it's either Luoyi or Aurora to play against the Faramis.
Yeah, using Luoyi, I think it's not too efficient because Ling have the pinch poise, so he can go anywhere he wants.
That's true.
With Aurora, the team fight's gonna be strong, but wow, the draft.
And also, with Luoyi, it isn't really the best pick-off composition. It doesn't really gang and burst down the players of Bigatron Alpha. So I think Aurora gives that zone and spacing against the Faramis.
But what do you think about Ruby in the gold lane, in the lane with Brody?
Survival. That's it.
Yeah, survival is the best, I think. But for this game, I think Tlid will go to the lower bracket.
I'm scared. I don't know if that's a curse or not.
I don't know. How about we just ignore statements from Coleus from now on?
We ban him.
But this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Do or die, lower brackets or the upper brackets. We're gonna throw it over to our casters.
Thing that a lot of people didn't foresee coming. Game number 5 was indeed possible in the hands of the robot. Now, the climax begins for the cavalry and the red robots. Let's see for one last time
Bigatron Alpha Mlbb, who will go to the upper bracket finals and who will be sent down to the lower brackets.
Oh boy. Now, we thought it was going to be an assassin showdown in this game, but it turns out with Super Ken being on the X-Borg now, it seems like the foot is on the other shoe. Bigatron Alpha can play so well for the neutral objective, but if we follow the opinions of Mirko, they have to play really hard for this, this strong side Brody pick. Otherwise, it's kind of a waste of a slot there. They could have put something else that can kind of scale better. 2 Inspires for the Faramis and the Mathilda, and you can see the assassin emblem with the Master Assassin for the Brody. So, man, they're going to go aggressive. And for Team Liquid, still a lot of emphasis in the moving around, especially for Aran on the Phobias. No longer as mobile, but with the agility, going to be trying to help out, kind of arrive in a lot of the early fights and swing it in favor of Team Liquid ID.
Once again, key on the Mathilda, still 100% in this season, in Season 14. Now they cooked up something different. A power pick for Fabian, a Ling, an assassin that has been feared throughout the regular season, could actually do it this time. And this is an interesting lane. Arashi, super look this time on the Akai instead of Aran.
Yeah, the Akai, I think a lot of teams are kind of seeing the value of it. Not really bad in laning again, even against the Phobias. But again, it's always in the mid lane here, especially with the Prio, with the roam potential coming in from the Faramis and Mathilda. We've seen how fast they can go across the lane, and even this gold lane. With the fights getting so close between these two heroes, someone just showing up, popping an ultimate could be enough to swing the fight in favor of one side, but Team Liquid, Aaron Shiki trying to go aggressive there.
Let's see for the first neutral objective take. Bigatron Alpha and Mlbb, they're in position to go and take the neutral objective. Faramis pops another realm. Aran now pinned down towards the backside. That's the Vengeance pops as well. Let's see Mlbb in prime positioning. That's Fabian collecting the turtle, but Aran will be the trade. Now with the help of the hard guard, Super Luke's in trouble, and Fabian picks up the kill.
Fabian Achu in the early game, getting one for himself. Just the story, the first game and the second game might be recreated this time. This objective takes, 0 out of 2.
Is he feeling the pressure? Again, it's a whole different scenario right now. A lot of hopes are hanging on the gold lane. For Team Liquid though, with the Angeline combo, they can kind of be a bit more oppressive macro-wise. And even in the Retribution contest, I think you can't really argue that the X-Borg can do more damage than the Ling. Unless later on the Last Insanity gets popped for that purpose. But if they use a big ultimate like that, it can be used in combat to try and go for a neutral objective. That in itself could be a bit of a loss for Bigatron. So they gotta ration out their ultimates very patiently here.
Oh man, we thought it was a winning lane for Brody. Usually it is, except for probably Clint, but this time around, Aaron Shiki, never mind. Do they want to actually pull the trigger?
It's a 3v1. Aaron Shiki is okay. Just the trigger, the Purifier from King. But that will be all. No casualties. The setup failed technically for the side of Bigatron Alpha.
It's the threat of the Angela. Again, now Super Luke. Spins out to safety. But again, whatever play gets used by Bigatron, the way they're able to get a lot of these pickouts earlier is by outmaneuvering Team Liquid ID. But now look at this. Fabian just being so mobile, and the backup is always available from Witty. Definitely having his eye on the map here. Look at the zoning by Aaron though.
Defended failed flicker though. So that connection wasn't really come to fruition. Did it not really come to fruition for Aaron Shiki?
I didn't count that as a hit. That was an 0-4-3 for Aaron Shiki. Meanwhile,
Witty pulled back. Very low, but is able to sustain. The second neutral is up and alive.
Right, Angela will be having to go back, but again, no ultimate available. Won't be able to join this fight. They still have to go through Yehezkiel if Bigatron wants to try and contest this. But along with Aran, this is a very oppressive wave of heroes and spells to kind of walk into, but look at that.
2v1 hard guard hovered around, not committed just yet. Fabian level 9, Super Ken level 7 on this second neutral objective take. Let's see who will get it.
Bit of a slow dance here. Yehezkiel kind of in a dangerous spot. What is this movement here? Quickly go.
Doesn't crash on towards the skill heavy.
Oh!
Tempest of Blade though committed.
Oh!
Fabian still finds the Newt. Now, Bigatron Alpha, they move back, but Mlbb, it seems like they out for blood. Super Ken connected, but it seems like they will not have enough space and resources to force a fight.
Double the value, Arashi. They got the objectives, got the top lane, got the bottom lane too. Courtesy of Fabian. And even then, look at that Super Ken. Export mortality first item as a jungler.
To make sure he has multiple lives in the middle of a big fight. It's been how they were able to actually pressure Team Liquid ID. By having multiple lives, it kind of discourages the members of Team Liquid from focusing him down because he essentially has 3 lives. So, you know, that allows him to do more damage and to get in there in the neutral objective pit. But for Team Liquid, the team fights are going to favor them so much. The Aurora, the Ruby, the Phobias. We'll have to see how this ends up though. Because for both teams, technically, not a lot of good late game high ground clear. And even this notorious combo, the Angel Ling, it's only on a 38% win rate. Definitely still beatable with the abundance of crowd control available for Bigatron. The kiss from the Brody, the heavy spin, as well as the Ghost Bursters and Circling Eagle. So many ways for Bigatron to kind of catch Fabian if he makes a mistake.
At this point, for Bigatron Alpha, I feel like they're more... This is a very responsive composition rather than an offensive. Meanwhile, Fabian is going to wait for Super Ken.
Let's see, Viraga Armor is the target. Last Insanity popped as a defensive maneuver.
Oh.
But now, Fabian, very low on energy, and he will back away.
So good that they're able to use this Ruby as a split pusher. Usually this isn't what you would expect, but the Ruby, against all of these kind of burst-heavy heroes, technically, the Arashiki can kind of out-sustain from a lot of the damage that Bigatron can throw his way. It's gonna require 2 or even 3 members to secure the kill onto this gold lane Ruby. So Team Liquid ID can do like a double split push with a Ruby and Link.
Has Klaus on Fabian, that's a power spike right there. He can stay in the team fight as long as he wants, especially with the hard guard. But now, Oran already on the engage.
Last hurdle here is up. Super Ken level 10, Fabian 2 levels above. Let's see if Bigatron Alpha can do the impossible. 2,500 gold Mlbb taking it slow. Fabian collects his purple, and it seems like now he wants to contest the neutral objective. Bigatron Alpha, do they have enough resources? Flicker, heavy spin, but that's Moreno jumping in as well! Super Ken did take the turtle. Ron goes down, Aaron Cheeky, in the midst of it all, finds the Don't Run Wolf King, and that will be Super Luke taken down. 2 for 1 still in favor of Bigatron Alpha, and remember, they got the turtle as well.
Finally, the 50-50s are won by Super Ken, despite Fabian has a real chance, has a solid chance to actually take it for them.
Yeah, he popped the Tempest of Blades right when the turtle was actually low. So I thought he was gonna get it. But it turns out, I think Team Liquid were kind of aiming to go more for the fight, more so than the lead objective. Emando knows his limits.
Very good.
Oh, man. Photo on the hands of Weedy saves him from that situation. Now with the War Axe too. Oh, Moreno.
That's a Purify. That's the cover by Super Luke as well. It seems like Mlbb, they're looking to find something. Remember, structure-wise, it is actually in favor of the cavalries.
And Fabian on the lane, this is a combo that, even though the win rate might not look great if you look at it, but even RRQ, they need to somehow invest a long CC towards this Angeling combo to make it happen, to actually win against this composition. But when you look at Bigatron's composition, Arashi, there's no proper catch towards Fabian.
No easy way for sure. And now finally this Brody pick is gonna allow Bigatron Alpha to take down these turrets in relative safety. Run, find Super Luke.
Will they commit this? That's the question. Ron does commit the Infernal Pursuit. Now Super Luke actually pops the heavy spin as well. The Glacier pop Nether Realm as well. That's Fabian almost pinned down. Bigatron Alpha and Mlbb doesn't really find the connection that they want, so they back off. 10 seconds for the first lord to be up.
Good attempt there for Team Liquid ID. Trying to make sure that they do have an edge coming into the next fight. They burn a lot of the ultimates, but they definitely burn a lot of ultimates themselves. I think they're gonna be attempting to go for a cross-map play, but Aaron Shiki, gotta be careful, man.
Careful, Fabian has the BOD, Nether Realm, and as well as the hard guard here. Actually invested that hard guard very early. Bigatron Alpha backing away. Super Luke though, caught. Lord is taken care of. Still 60% HP. Moreno looking for an angle. Purify pops as well. Around with the Infernal Pursuit. Tempest of Blade committed. But it seems like Bigatron, they have enough space to back away. Now Bigatron, they want to re-engage. Richard Glacier pops. Moreno very low. Nether Realm to safety. And that will be Aaron Cheeky off the board.
They played the kiting game perfectly, Bigatron Alpha, and now they have the numbers in the Lord Pit, even though right now, Tlid, do they want to blitz this one? Super Ken?
Do they have enough resources? Super Ken very low, caught, and he will fall. No retribution for the red robots.
Now it's an equal ground, but not really. Fabian on the hard guard, on the Ling, on this hero. Can he make it happen?
Let's see, Vengeance committed. Amon backing away with the guiding when Tlid has the Lord Pit. Bigatron Alpha looking to delay, but it seems like they will not contest. Tlid strikes first in this Lord take.
Finally, that Lord is taken down after all that dances that both teams showed. Eman secured the Demon Hunter sword to further his damage on towards Iran, which is going to be in the front the whole time for Tlid.
Fascinating. That's not what you usually see being built, but this is a max HP build here for Eman. You see Halberd with the Demon Hunter sword. It's gonna do a lot of that max HP damage, but only a Malefic Roar, no BOD, so no execute chances. He's just trying to actually output enough damage to match Team Liquid ID. Witty is doing a great job just keeping everyone topped up when it comes to the HP bars. And that's we haven't talked about the fleeting time already completed. Now it can be used aggressively as well. Any assist will shorten the cooldown on a hard guard even more. Look at this play from Team Liquid, man. They want to go aggressive.
This is the first Lord, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Oh, Super Ken actually overextended. Nobunaga guiding window is available. Lord not charging just yet. It is the first Lord. It seems like Bigatron, they're onto it. Tlid, no initiation whatsoever. They just want the inners.
Oh no, it's Aaron Cheeky on the Ruby. There's no long range melee dealer. So now the inhibitor turret takes, it's gonna take a lot more than some simple engage. There has to be a Lord, there has to be some way for them to find the loophole of this Bigatron Alpha, this robotic defense.
Just remember, with the macro potential ready for Team Liquid, with the jungler, you know, being X-Borg, right? Even if Weedy wants to kind of overextend and push out the far side of the map away from the Lord, who can actually go and punish him 1v1? As long as Weedy doesn't walk into a bush against Eman maybe, he can really get away very, very easily. So Team Liquid, even though they don't have a lot of range, they still have a lot of ways to kind of play around this. And even a backdoor angle if they really want to. And you really see them setting up for it all the way from now. The angle on the far side.
And offended does not land on Super Ken, but now Viraga armor very low. Ron pinned down with a ground popped, and that is Ron repositioned with the hard guard. Fabian finds an angle with the Tempest of Blade, and that's another round committed as well. Moreno, Ron goes down. Aaron Cheeky trying to hold on, but it seems like the damage from Amon is too huge. Looking for the triple. Winner crown the passive for Aurora will not be enough. Amon, he's a maniac.
My goodness, they forgot who's the main man in this composition. Eman just free hitting in the back. They forgot about this guy. And he might want to end this one right now. Do they actually can do it?
I don't think so, but it does bring Equilibrium. Base turret should be the target. Hard guard is available. Tempest of Blade to clear the waves. Fabian looking to take the defense, but it seems like now he jumps. And the base turret is alive. Super Loop might be caught, but the heavy spin is available. Fabian very low. The flicker committed, but Amon does not find the connection. Moreno isolated in mid lane. Popped airborne, everything. Purify is still on cooldown, and that will be Bigatron just backing away.
The Lord though.
Oh yeah, they backed away at the worst position right now. Super Ken doesn't have the Viraga armor. They want to blitz this one.
Yeah, 3 members very low. I don't think Bigatron Alpha can contest this. Second Lord for Tlid.
Would you say that's a good decision, Arashi?
For who?
For Bigatron Alpha to back off.
I mean, they have to back off.
Yeah.
If they overstay their welcome, then Team Liquid ID can get multiple death timers on them. The fact that they were pushing so far ahead there, instead of focusing on the Lord, knowing that they have the better late game, technically, with a marksman available, with the Nether Realm, they really shouldn't be at any urgency to try and go for the end that early. They could have just pushed up and then went back and be ready to try and go back to the same situation. But maybe they're just concerned about the cross-map plays available, right? They've already beat Team Liquid ID in a 5v5 once. There's a chance that Team Liquid won't oblige them into another easy front-to-back, another 5v5. For the most part, though, it seems like the main backline damage dealer for the side of Team Liquid is the Aurora. And with the Divine Glaive, with the Wishing Lantern, it's definitely a lot more poke damage, but not a lot of big bursts. So Bigatron, they might just feel comfortable walking into the Frigid Glacier, no problem.
Oh, the reason I asked that was in the previous game, it was the same situation. TLID had the option to just back away and defend the Lord. This time around, Pikachu Alpha showed them how it's done. This is the way of the vets. This is the way of players with experience now. It's gonna be a tough test for TLID to break through the defense of Bigatron Alpha.
Bigatron Alpha not letting the Lord charge on towards the base turret here. Bigatron, or Super Ken, doing his job at the bottom lane.
Oh man,
is going to be the target.
Wow.
Open wide actually for Fabian. Let's see how will they handle it. Super Ken over Raga. Aran force him to go back.
Oh my God!
Hard guard clutch, but it seems like their mortality was bought in time.
No way!
Winner crown for Fabian. Yes, Kielsil with a nuisance, and Fabian survives. TLID fights more as Slash Insanity pops as well. Aran looking for trouble. Now with the winner crown pops as well. Bigatron Alpha, can they defend? They will. Come on, finds the kill, and TLID will have to be satisfied in just taking out the base turrets. Flicker. Bigatron, they want more. They know Aaron Shiki's low, hard committed. This is a mistake. Bigatron Alpha, they will disengage.
They're more than fine then. It's a 3 base turrets taken down for TLID. They practically is down to their last base, to their last hope to secure the upper brackets. And now, the long lane, the cross-map plays will be even more dangerous with Fabian on the lane.
That was crazy, man. Fabian, how the hell did he survive that? I mean, the hard guard was used on him, and there was a lot of help from his teammates as well.
Let him switch, man.
But he just cleared the bottom side turret, went into the base, was dived on by 3 members, and just slid out, no problem. Smooth operating. But now with 3 seconds to go, with no base turrets for Bigatron Alpha, Team Liquid ID. They're sending Witty to be near the Lord, actually. Can help with the sustain. They're sending Fabian to do his best work 1v1.
When you can really win with the macros and your composition doesn't really work the best on a siege, you just gotta win with the macros, with your skills. Fabian showed just that. Now, this Lord, 18 minutes has elapsed in this game. This might be the last objective of the game. Of this Team Super Loop is undetected.
And the Thunder does not land. Heavy spin! Oh my goodness, that's a huge one! The passive trigger, the S-kill, fighting for his dear life, he will fall. Now, Bigatron, they will cycle the backside. Actually, Fabian doing work with the help of Hardguard, never round triggered, and that's info. That's huge info. Can TLID take advantage of the Nether Realmless formation?
Oh my god, seems like they can't. Once again, they're just gonna clear the lane over and over again. Are we looking at a deja vu at Game 5 Onyx and Geekfam? Is it gonna be a long 30-minute game?
It might as well be, man. Bigatron Alpha catching up slowly but surely here. Fabian has been on full items for quite a while at this point. Waiting with the BOD, and all the damage. Oh man, look at that move though. Bigatron wants to try and catch Aaron Tricky.
We have good DPS, I'm offended though. Now will not do much damage. Bigatron Alpha, they're doing the work, but TLID, they know they have the map. So they will take it slow and they will not commit anything unless they're sure of it.
Man, oh man, how do they handle this? Looks like it's going to be Eman and Key to further the mobility of this Brody on the long lane. So they have a way to handle that. They have a plan for Fabian's split pushing ability, but Fabian jumps in onto a super can.
Early jump now with the hard guard commit as well. Has Firaga armor, but now Bigatron, they're looking to jump Fabian. Tempest to play, defensively good placement for the mid. The backside is actually Amon, who was sent down to clear the waves. TLID still taking their time here. They can't really pull the trigger.
Wow, Team Liquid ID, they could have gone aggressive there, knowing that the main damage dealer from Bigatron really isn't available. But they're playing it very, very careful. This is the pressure I'm talking about, man. The final game of the series. Everything you do just seems to be that much more important, that much more dangerous. Aaron Shiki on the Mpl-Id. He's been missing a lot, but it's also kind of applying a lot of pressure to the members of Bigatron. And now the slow dance, the macro play from Team Liquid ID continues as Bigatron Alpha, they're scaling more and more into the late game. Even Eman going with the Haas Claws, it's a full basic attack build.
Cleaver Fave looking to face check that bush. Remember, top lane is up and available, and it seems like he wants some of it. Can Bigatron respond? Tlid though, man, looking at the control, looking at the lead, it seems like they're still struggling to find the right connection.
This is, we've mentioned it over and over again, the experience. A more seasoned team will show their fangs, will show their worth in the late game. The macro plays, the split-second decision that these teams gonna make. Will it happen this time?
Seems like they want it on towards the Lord. The pin does not land on towards anyone's important. Last Insanity in the backside with the help of Parker Tempest Blade. Seems like Tlid still again, and as well as the effect of the optimal fight. Oh, I'm offended. I might be wrong. Super Can loses the mortality and the realm pops as well. That's info. Tlid, I think they can use this resource waste on towards the Lord.
The back and forth from Team Liquid is just so good right now. They have been able to bait out a lot of the big ultimates, and now they're gonna commit to it.
Yeah. Last Insanity though is still up and available. Aaron Shiki good. Forte, Super Ken might fall. I repeat, Super Ken might fall. Fabian is on him. Tempest of Blade does not land Rob though. Oh my goodness! Aaron Shiki with the unoffended play. Look at the collapse. That might be the play that sent them to the upper bracket finals.
Aaron Shiki very low, he can heal up. Fabian and crew, it's a 5v3 on the base. They're just gonna back away for now, wait for the Lord, even though they have the man advantage.
Let's see. Let's see.
Oh, it's because Moreno is up with the passive of the Theramis. Super Luke, though, is out for 40 seconds. They can go for a 6v4 if you consider the Lord as another teammate. Hardguard is available with the fleeting time. It's time for Team Liquid ID.
Let's see, Tlid looking for an opening, but it seems like the Nether Realm will buy time. Time for the late pop. Super Can holding the Lord in the backside. Come on, falls down as long as well as Super Can. The base wide open, baby. Tlid, they're in the upper bracket finals.
Top 3 secured for the youngsters, for the rookies. Incredible season so far for the Cavalries. The doubt has been answered. They don't have any experience. They're just a bunch of young guys in the playoffs. What can you say right now, ladies and gentlemen? They took down Bigatron Alpha, denying the reverse sweep.
It was a tough whole team effort on the composition without a marksman. They found a way to make it work. Where Onyx were faltering in the face of a late game composition without proper siege, Team Liquid ID just know that they have it in them. They barrel through, they play the back and forth. They look like the aggressors, but they were playing it patient, man. They forced Bigatron to react at every single corner, and when they found the right opportunity, they have struck gold.